A few years ago, alternate dimensions and the real world began to merge. Surprisingly, the monsters that emerged from the alternate dimensions were eerily similar to countless urban legends. Suddenly, those legends became reality. Giant rats with chainsaws and monsters that only existed in stories began massacring humans. But humans have awakened and are called hunters. Already on the university campus, we found a young man buying bread, or rather, pancakes. And so far, the probability of portals still seems very low, not disrupting the lives of most ordinary people. The world continues to function normally, even with monsters everywhere, and he still thinks the bread is very good, but the pancakes seem to be cheaper. Since the beginning of the strange appearance of that phenomenon as an ordinary F-level person, he continued to live his life almost the same as in the past, always having so much difficulty making two choices, bread or pancake. That was all he had difficulty, or even fear of facing the unknown. He then arrived in his classroom, while two girls were talking. It seems like a perfume over there is really catching the two of them's attention. Look, that guy is in love with this girl. Her name is Leisha. She immediately says good morning to him, and he responds, good morning, all blushing. He never thought about declaring himself to her, because this guy is totally indecisive when he has to make a choice. If his life could be like buying breakfast, that would be great, but he still remains indecisive. In short, he would be very good at trying out countless life possibilities, and in the end, he could choose the best one and move on. He is thinking about choosing again after seeing the future, right? But soon he decides to live an honest and simple life, and suddenly, he sees a portal opening in the sky. Wow, in the middle of the city, everyone is scared. What could be happening? And then, suddenly, a bee knocks on the door, coming in with several mouths open and smiling. He realizes that those are creatures that came out of a portal, while that buzzard starts to scream and smile, saying, it's time for the call. Suddenly, one of the students starts screaming that he is going to die, and suddenly, his head explodes. Bah! The first one was already in a ditch. Our protagonist gets up, while that one continues laughing. Now he wants to massacre the next one. All the students there start running extremely fast, but their heads start exploding one after another. The protagonist is still standing, completely immobilized with fear. All the students who tried to leave ended up dying. What if he climbs out that window? Does he have any chance? But he looks to the side and sees his beloved. Once again, he is faced with a choice. Obey his survival instinct or follow his conscience. What should he do? And surprisingly, for the first time in his life, he made a quick choice and asked for her hand quickly so they could escape through the door or jump out the window. She reaches out to him, crying in fear, but suddenly he only sees several explosions. That scene is a total scene of despair and extreme pain. They filled it with blood. Then, unfortunately, he died. And suddenly he wakes up and sees, what? Didn't I just die? A déjà vu, my dear. He looks ahead and sees the two girls looking at the perfume again, and she greets him while he wonders if he died. That's pretty weird, huh? Suddenly, a blue system screen appears. You have acquired the ability to predict the future. The skill demonstration has just occurred. From now on, that ability can be used officially. Predicting the future has an expiration time of 10 minutes and a cost of 10 mental energy points. Single use. Damn, a pretty good skill, huh? 10 minutes. So it means that what just occurred now was a simulation of the future, and only he can see this system interface. So if he has two options to choose from, he can predict the future. He can choose between the two and see which is the better option. Very stolen. He's confident now. As long as he predicts the events of the next 10 minutes, he can find a chance of survival. And from what he remembers, the moment the spider went all the way down the window was the moment the stick started to fall off the leaf. Time flows irreversibly forward, and he doesn't have much time to think. The spider continues to descend, and he needs to predict the future quickly. He then activates his future prediction ability and enters a projective state, and boom, he starts telling everyone to run, because things are going to fall. His priority is to get everyone out of the room. He enters the room and starts telling everyone that the monster will come through the door, and they can quickly escape through the window, but no one believes him. Nobody moves. Complete silence. The other girl said that guy is getting scary. Is that what he's doing there? While he thinks that no one believes what he is saying, when that anomaly arrives, it will be too late to run. And suddenly, your prediction is complete. And boom, there's the anomaly, smiling, saying it's recess time, guys. And several heads get blown off again, ending the ability to predict the future, returning to a normal state. How disgusting, my brother. The scenes are completely disgusting, and the smell of blood is still in your nose. The other girl notices that he is very restless. Unfortunately, our boy couldn't convince the students to flee before the being could blow their heads off. So, should he do it? Does that mean he should just block the classroom door? It will be. And if students realize that there's a monster trying to enter the room, they will want to jump out the window and escape. Then he goes into his premonition state and starts running in the halls of the room. A guy smoking a cigarette in the classroom starts yelling at him. You can't believe that guy over there is running in the middle of the room. Our boy already closes the door and locks it. If he can stop that monster from getting in, everything will be fine. But suddenly, the monster is already there. Roll call time, my dear students. And once again, several heads are blown off. The sound went through the door. Just hearing that monster caused everyone's death. Unfortunately, our boy cannot bear so much pain, so much smell of blood. He's going to have to go through this again. Even though we know it's just a simulation, the sensations of death are so real. But he thinks, why does he have to save that bunch of people? And the people in that room there, he doesn't even know well. Once again, he is faced with a choice. He must follow his survival instinct or follow his conscience. But again, it smells good and feels smooth. The girl comes closer to him and asks if he is feeling okay. He looks a little pale. Does he want to go to the infirmary or take some medicine? Some other guys also think he ate something bad or spoiled. He'd better go and rest, because the teacher will make a roll call later. And suddenly, all they hear is the little voice. Roll call time, my dear students. But unlike other times, this time, he felt and realized something very different. The first choice is a person's subconscious that reveals the truest inner self. So no matter how many times history repeats itself, he will always make the same choice. He then enters the prediction state once again, and decides to attack the monster first. As he stands there shouting that it's roll call time, and the first to die now is him, Li Xiaorui, his head is completely blown up in the air. He can even change the order of the call so he can kill you first. His energy depletion is increasing. It seems that the more miserable and desperate his death is, the more mental energy is consumed. He then decides to stay calm and try one more time. He switched the order to send Ding out first, and once again, he lost. And now he's had his head, and his loved one's head, blown off. That didn't work either, and it increasingly consumes energy. Hiding doesn't seem to work either. He's running out of stitches. Now mental energy depletion is at 88 out of 157 and has consumed 13, 10, 14, 10, 15, 20, 11. Damn. Several times he died. Mental exhaustion is now at 1. As he looks to the side and sees the spider coming down the window, he smells Li's familiar scent and realizes that's it, the perfume. Now he found a solution. This is his last chance. And according to his abilities, from that moment on, at any moment the monster could enter the room, massacring dozens of students just with the sound of his mouth. And there are only 30 seconds left. Then, suddenly he gets up and tells everyone that he is feeling a tremor. Damn! An earthquake started. The girl there already said that everyone should go to the sports field to try to take shelter. And now there are 29 seconds left. 28, 27. While the students think that this guy must be joking, the building is just shaking a little. That's normal. And some didn't want to study at all. They wanted to get out of there. While he thinks that, firstly, he can't tell anyone that there are monsters coming that way, because no one will believe him. So he has to have enough of a strategy so that no one can confirm whether it is true or not. Then he takes the perfume from the girl's table and continues shouting that there is an earthquake. Everyone is supposed to get out of there by jumping out the window, because they don't have much time to think. But are you aware that they are on the second floor? While other people also shout that there is an earthquake there. One guy just thinks it's really lucky that their room is on the second floor, because it looks like it's shaking so much. Suddenly, he feels some spasms and starts cursing the protagonist, saying that the guy is crazy. While the protagonist just thinks he has to leak before the monster enters the room, the guy starts shouting back there, while he thinks he has to make more people and jump more. And now there are 23 seconds left. He pulls on one of the girl's collars while they were deciding whether to run or not. Everyone is confused, and they need more time to be able to evacuate. And now there are 20 seconds left. Some bastards over there think there's no earthquake at all. He doesn't believe it, while someone else is just playing. Others there continue to sleep. There are always students who are unfazed, and the monster is about to enter the room. There simply isn't time to fool all the students and make them leave. And he keeps telling everyone to run. And look, half of the students have already managed to jump, but the monster is about to arrive. A strong man in the room tells everyone to jump. And suddenly, one of the guys outside, almost jumping out the window, notices a strange light in the sky, and it looks like it's getting really dark. And there are only 18 seconds left. 15 seconds, 12 seconds, 11 seconds. A portal is opening. This appears to be a parallel dimension. The monster is coming. Some people scream for help, while others tell everyone to run away. 10 seconds. Half of the students have already jumped. Only the other half remains. Unfortunately, the last 10 seconds weren't enough to evacuate everyone. He has a new idea. Since he couldn't get everyone to leave the room, he has to stop the monster from attacking more students after entering the room, and he needs to stop it. Now there are 7 seconds left. Then he takes a match and strikes it. Before he was just speculating about the logic of the monster's attack. In 6 seconds now, and after several simulations, 5 seconds, he discovered what the answer would be. He throws the lit match into the perfume bottle and sets it on fire. With 4 seconds left, the monster already puts its hand on the door. He knows that that monster's only ability is calling. With 3 seconds left, the monster finally presents itself, saying, "It's roll call time, dear students." So that guy's attack logic is very simple. He is prepared, looks at the animal's face and tells him to try to stop him if he is able, and throws the burning perfume bottle into the monster's mouth. Precisely, his tactic is to burn your vocal cords, thus preventing the attack of sound waves. With 1 second left, the monster was unable to activate its ability because its vocal cords are all on fire, while the school's music is turning the rock volume up to maximum. He closes the door quickly and tells everyone to get out of there. He has to isolate the sound emitted by him at all costs. This way, he will be able to stop it and be able to save everyone in that room. And maybe, except him. The monster keeps trying to get in, while everyone has already left. He decides to leave too, but his head starts to spin. He is completely exhausted because he uses a lot of mental energy, and his head hurts a lot, but he continues to walk slowly before blacking out. He knows that strange entity is about to enter. He doesn't have any hero feelings in his head. All he has now is regret, and also fear. His mental energy is at a point of 57. If he knew what it was like to be a hero, what would he do now? He looks at his hands as he begins to lose consciousness. However, if there was a next time, maybe he would. Then, suddenly, he notices a hand, and there it is, saying that he's going to run away with it. She starts to carry him, and they both jump out of the room, and already outside, everyone is watching that dark dimension in the sky, and he finally made it. He saved everyone, every student in that room, but he looks at his beloved's face, and sees that she is quite scared, observing that strange dimension in the sky. The portal is now fully open, and several horrifying and very grotesque creatures emerge from inside. A worm with one eye and a mummy with a really weird mouth, and some kind of frog mixed with a tadpole, I don't know, with several mouths and eyes. Damn, what a crazy animal. And even an animal that looks like, I don't know what, you're crazy. Some endless monsters advancing and attacking. They're all fucked up. Now that the portal is fully open, all those strange creatures are heading towards ordinary humans. And unlike the others, he is the only one awakened there. Everyone seems to be going to the ditch, but suddenly, a kind of magical shield protects them. They are saved. This is a barrier. Has the Hunters Association arrived? While the monsters try to attack that barrier, some people ask them not to move, and the captain is on his way. They will be saved soon. A girl appears using some kind of space teleportation. She is Ling, an awakened space-type S-rank hunter. She is the vice captain of the strongest team, and he, who is acting cold, thinks this is all very good. Finally, he will be safe. But inside that barrier, everyone is pushing each other. A complete push-push. And suddenly, one of the guys there puts his foot in front of one of the girls and pushes her back, and she falls out of the barrier. Damn. And then the protagonist's friend of the friend, Tian. Everyone asks the boy to go there and help her, but the guy just says that the hunters can save her. Apparently that barrier wouldn't last long, and the monsters are already watching that girl. Who will save her, poor thing? One of the horrifying monsters that looks like some kind of praying mantis with a human head grabs the girl and begins to devour her alive, chipping away. But then, the protagonist, with blood in his veins, finds a really big pair of scissors and tells the monster to let go of them. While she's there being chewed up, begging for someone to save her. The guy just tells her to hold on for a while. Then, the barrier starts to fall apart, and the girl soon tells everyone to get out of there. Apparently, it looks like it's going to rain. The monster watches those crystals falling to the ground, and it looks like it has an S-rank hunter, nation attacker with energy manipulation skill and fundamental ice conjuration. Those huge ice crystals fall and start freezing several monsters there. A monster that was chewing on the woman is now completely frozen, and the shield girl's energy is completely dissolved, releasing everyone. There he is, passing the White Association branch report. A strange attack event in the suburban university town has been completely succeeded. An extermination has been completed. Everyone starts to thank you. The hunter arrived. Everyone starts to thank that guy. The hunter finally arrived to save everyone. Those strange creatures were defeated in one fell swoop. How incredible. Some people there start asking for his autograph, while he says that everyone is safe. While the guy looks like a fool, the protagonist comes very close and elbows the guy in the middle of the head. He catches and pulls him by the tie and starts to say that if he didn't see someone screaming outside the barrier, and there she is, the The girl, still in the monster's mouth. Unfortunately, that guy killed her too. The kids over there are crying, poor Tien. While the protagonist's system searches for more information about that guy, our protagonist tells that guy that he knew there was someone outside the barrier. Why did he still attack? That means he killed her on purpose. But the guy exuding his power tells the protagonist who he is to be talking so loud to him. That guy looks like a who has never participated in a battle. Saving everyone? After so many years as a hunter, I never dared to have this foolish dream. He then takes the protagonist's hand and says very quietly, if I couldn't kill all these creatures at once, the barrier would break, and those strange creatures would invade the crowd, and everyone would be dead. You should thank me for saving thousands of people, instead of just one. His feet now start to freeze, as he asks what he would choose. But the protagonist says, but what if? The guy already interrupts. And if there is a kid way, when you have the ability to make choices, then judge my approach. One guy just tells everyone to call the other members and close the other portal. Otherwise, those creatures will leave without stopping. The next day, everyone starts to thank our protagonist Xiao Rei for being able to save everyone. If it weren't for him, everyone there would have gone to the ditch. That class is really lucky to have him as a class hero. And look, that captain is extremely cold. He killed that girl along with the creatures. If it weren't for him, everyone would stay alive. But unfortunately, one of the classmates said that if it weren't for Tian Tian, maybe everyone would have died. Xiao Rei says it wasn't his fault. Maybe I was a little impulsive. He's not wrong. He's a hero who saved everyone, who is only thinking about the greater good. He remembers the scene of that girl, very worried about him wanting to call a nurse for him, or maybe give him some medicine to help him, while thinking that he hopes that everyone has the right to survive, and next time he wants the power to choose. So he wants to become an elite hunter, stronger than himself. An additional motivation for our protagonist, which is nothing less than the remorse and regret of not being able to save that girl. Some time ago, in the municipal university city, there were several cases of suicide, and the students were even getting used to it. It was a routine thing. And look, at that time, there was a lot of bullying. That kind of thing was totally normal. Many students have personally witnessed and experienced horrific bullying. What was surprising is that the police that year almost never received calls for help from victims of bullying. And look, the bullies who practiced this kind of thing only got worse over time, having an increasingly inflated ego, and the situation was becoming increasingly terrifying, and several students were dying. At that time, the only place for victims to turn for help was their own teachers, but the teachers didn't care. They always blamed the victim. It's the same thing as convicting a guy who was robbed for robbery. Oh, they robbed you because you were walking in the wrong place. The guy started saying that he is not responsible for anyone there. He is only responsible for their learning. If it's bullying, you better go to the police. That guy's father was the mayor, and his father is so incompetent. So naturally, the son of an incompetent will also be an incompetent. The negligent attitude of all teachers towards bullying is regrettable, but that was the final nail in the student's coffin. The All-Humanity Preparedness Association of the Royal City's Marine Branch was preparing to investigate the source of the strange suicide of the students on that trip. They saw the last of his cold face and his teachers. This means that the strange dark origin became the entrail and eventually appeared in the real world. This is the opening portal of that strange trip. A large number of official protesters appeared in the 342 rooms of 3 universities in the university city in a short period of time. The news appeared in several newspapers, and the guys said that several students had died, releasing many more monsters from the other world. Our protagonist watched the news on his television, and then went through the records of each deceased person. He takes out his cell phone and begins to realize that, after that day, the school gave everyone a week off to stay home, and he is no exception. He begins to notice in the class chat that the last message he had received was from Tian Tian, who asked him if he needed some medicine. While a class leader found this all very strange, he would be the big hero. Did he have any inside information? He doesn't think he's a hero, on the contrary. Then, a notification from the Hunters Association. Hello, awakened from Class F, Li Xiao Rei. Your life bag for this month has been deposited. Please, you'd better check. He now has an attribute panel. Strength 13, Agility 11, Constitution 7, Mana 0, Mentality 58, Unawakened status. Not only is he a low-level awaken, but he has a non-awakened status. And besides, F level isn't very rewarding. He starts to unbutton his clothes and thinks that 10 years ago, Since his mother disappeared, he lost his source of support, and to continue studying, he had to rely on a necklace that his mother left behind. He disguised himself as an F-rank awakener for that hunter association. Although he couldn't become a hunter, he could receive a small monthly stipend for roused. That magic necklace can create a small space in storage for items up to about 50 pounds. For an awakening person, it is a pretty rubbish ability, but unfortunately, it cannot be detected by the association's machines. That necklace, that photo, those are the only things his mother left behind, poor guy. Even though her face mysteriously disappeared currently, he can barely remember what his mother looked like. How strange. But besides appearance, every memory he had with his mother since childhood is also gone. Everything is gone, bro. Except for the night his mother disappeared. That was the night he lost all his memories and woke up with his mental power increased. He has heard that several people say that a large boost of mental power can increase their abilities. A week ago, after the stranger arrived, he slept one night. Not only was his mental power restored, but also the total value increased from 57 to 58, a huge increase. Did he actually gain the system ability? Maybe it has nothing to do with awakening, but he's not an awakened yet. In that era, he has many awakened, but they are completely useless, and only a half dozen have above normal combat power that can be called hunters carrying out missions to kill strange monsters. He spent the entire week analyzing the situation. Now, he decided to apply to the Hunter Association, become an official hunter, but maybe thinking about becoming a hero, but maybe also to improve his skills with each battle, and thinking that next time he can save someone. And look, the higher the level of the hunter, the greater the access to confidential information he has. Perhaps he can see more things about his past and discover or find his mother. Then, a little later, at the Marine branch of the Hunter Association, unfortunately, the request to become a hunter was refused. In that association, there are rarely awakened of lower level than B, and the task of hunting strange monsters is no joke. But he just says he doesn't want to become a hunter. In fact, the reason he's there today is that he wants to start improving his skills more and become the best hunter of all time. But he gives her a little smile and says that the reason he's there today is to reevaluate his skill level. Ah, if so, then you can. Unfortunately, his ability only allows him to deduce what might happen in the last 10 minutes. But she advises him not to get his hopes up, because the awakened usually don't lead to drastic ability changes. She will inform him of the results, and in the worst case, they will have to try again. Suddenly, he sees that pair, or that team of awakened. The guy is already being sent on a D-level mission, and he just said that they will arrive at the location in 30 seconds. Or a relative of the master there. Oh, that squad is pretty famous. Some want autographs, and others are completely melted because of that guy. Speaking of which, he's very popular, and he notices our protagonist's presence. This means he still remembers him, but the guy just talks amateurish and walks past him. The guy was furious and wanted to duel with him, but the girl soon stopped him, saying that he would kill him as if it were a joke. And the deduction countdown continues, and now at 5 minutes and 55, they are getting closer to the assessment laboratory. He asks her, imagine if there was a hunter who could predict what was going to happen in the next 10 minutes. What level of evaluation would he receive? Was it at least C or A or S level? Would he be powerful enough to be a white hunter? But she soon deduces that he doesn't understand anything about being a hunter in this world. If someone awakens any time-related ability, can predict the future, or go back in the past, for example, they would immediately be classified as the highest rank, SSS level. Damn it, now he was motivated. Extremely powerful, but she soon concluded that he would quickly be arrested by the highest institution in the country, being considered an extremely important strategic weapon, protected for the rest of his life, out of sight. That means it's just a life sentence. He now concludes that that incredible ability would really catch the attention of everyone in that shadow hunter organization. People would always be planning how to kidnap him. Now he chipped in. He wants to be a great hunter, but not like this. She asks him if he knows how hunters' skill levels are evaluated. Not just how powerful they are at the moment, but about their potential. Does he know how crucial the ability to predict the next 10 minutes is in the face of a national war? Nowadays, the success or failure of major wars is decided in just an instant. If they could predict the 10 minutes of a national war or predict the success or failure of an important assassination, this skill would never be considered trash. It would be considered crucial for any country. But now realizing the extent of his ability, he notes that he was very calm after discovering his ability, because he could only think about what the results would be after confessing to that girl. And in those last days, his ambition was just to predict whether whether there would be one more buyer in the premium codes on the store's drink cans. She looks at him sideways and says that the last time she heard about a time-related awakened was from a lady who had an ability to change the past. However, she is about 24 years old. She inexplicably left the national headquarters of the Hunter Association, and in those years, dark hunter organizations have been looking for her and have never seen her whereabouts again. Then, finally they arrive. She looks to the side and tells him that the tests are going to start. But where is the guy? He's already running away thinking about national war, shadow organizations, prisoners of war. He just wanted to find his mother, maybe solve some problems he has related to money. He doesn't have any defense skills and can't join the Hunter Association now. He can't let anyone discover his deduction skills, and the countdown is at 58 seconds. He almost forgot that he was in the state of deduction. Today he ended up there, and if it doesn't work out, maybe he'll give up on his goal of becoming a hunter. At the end of the day, that guy is nothing more than an ordinary student. He's better off leaving saving the world to heroes like white people. Suddenly he looks up and sees an empty teleporter. Ah. That skill is the vice leader's skill of the birds. Suddenly, that bloody girl falls into the room, apologizing, saying that the mission level is not D. She starts saying that everyone is dead and falls to the floor again, full of thorns embedded in her body. Everyone starts calling the medical team to try to save her, but unfortunately, it seems like it's already too late. This means that an entire squad was killed in less than 10 seconds, and his deduction countdown was completed. After thinking for a long time, the only thing he can do is cause confusion. He is then determined to try and do something, because the squad's best team is about to be completely decimated. He decides to stop it. Then, he arrives at the scene where the guy is saying that the difficulty level of his mission is D, and they will arrive at the location in 30 seconds. While everyone is admiring that guy, he enters the scene, passing everyone, and getting very close to that guy. While she says there are only 10 seconds left, and she will teleport everyone to the mission location. 9, 8, but before 7, the guy already arrives with the blow right in the middle of the guy's face, throwing him away. Naturally, he needs to delay him for a few minutes at least, so he can avoid the group's extinction after 10 minutes. Nobody in that room believed what that guy just did. He comes closer, pulls the guy by the tie and says, "Well now, if it's not Jesse, how long, Jesse? What happened to you?" Everyone in that room gasps. Jesse was beaten there in front of everyone for the second time. While the protagonist is looking really bad inside, he is apologizing and begging not to be killed by that guy. But the guy being pulled by his tie starts to pop his veins, and only tells the protagonist if he has already thought about his last words. Normally, that guy doesn't attack the weakest, but for him, he's going to make an exception, attacking him twice inexplicably. Oh, that's too much. He closes his fists and prepares to hit that guy in the face, while he's thinking that he can only stop them from reaching the mission location. Even if it's just to delay for 10 minutes, it could change the outcome of 2 deaths, 3 seconds. But that also means he at least needs to hold them for 10 minutes, 2 seconds. Unfortunately, he acted compulsively again to try to stop them as the countdown continues. 1 second. The girl soon activates the teleportation, while the clown says that she is just a mission-fulfilling machine, and his boss wanted to end the fight. Everyone there is teleported to the mission location, including the protagonist. Now the hunt for the ghost god will begin. Not only did he fail to stop them, but he was also taken along to the mission site. Now, maybe he can die along with those guys. The girl begins to tell him that, at the time of teleportation, due to the physical contact between the leader and the newcomer, they were teleported together, but her power is not enough for 6 people at the same time, and the newcomer has 0 power. So, he couldn't bring the clown and the dream together. That is, if the entire squad was decimated. That situation was fatal for him. Thanks to him, 2 main members are now missing, in exchange for an F member. But she only says that a D-level mission is extremely simple, and there shouldn't be much danger there. She starts to remind everyone there that they were fighting a while ago, right? Does he still want to screw that guy up? But the nervous guy still says he has to finish the mission first, while looking at the newbie, wondering what he's thinking, still very angry. And look, last time, he spoke so saintly. This guy hit him twice in the face and now he's acting like he was a saint. Could that guy be crazy? Have a mental illness? Yeah, maybe you can definitely be that. He then grabs the protagonist's head and asks why he is so scared. He decided not to take revenge on that guy personally, but after the mission is completed, he will inform the hunting association and then hunt you down. Just wait. The protagonist, crying and mockingly cold, says that he now has the last 10 minutes to live. He decides to use this time to think about the style of his coffin. Are you crazy? And how will he die, huh? Will he die like those insects stuck on stakes? Maybe no one will even be able to collect the pieces of his body. Within 10 minutes, a huge crisis will happen. The people on the city team, the strongest, think this mission is D level, but it's actually S level. All they think about is getting out of there. He can't worry about saving anyone other than himself. He needs to get away from that troublesome place as quickly as possible. But when he starts to run, someone pulls him by the shirt, saying that a beginner can't go out alone. It's very dangerous. Even though he doesn't like protecting weaklings like himself, that's the responsibility of stronger guys. And during the mission, as long as he is okay, companions will be okay too. So he shouldn't leave his field of vision. He's going to protect that rookie's safety. The guy starts crying, thinking he should stop saying that. This makes it even harder for him to leave them and run away. Speaking of which, the sky is very clear and nothing normal has appeared. Not even a portal has appeared in that sky. So, after all, is it really a D mission? One guy went on to say that within the association, the division checkers noticed. They detected unusual activity right there. And they only came to investigate there because there were just a few anomalies that came up, and they're usually just manifestations of individual complaints, so they're pretty weak. That village is part of the outskirts of the city, with few residents. While the guy explains, the protagonist continues crying and sweating coldly. After all, that guy keeps patiently explaining every step. A completely understanding and patient guy. But the guy watches the protagonist and wonders, why is that guy crying while he explains the content of the mission to him? And he just thinks that guy's a psychiatric patient. The guy's crazy, but suddenly someone arrives asking, wow, you're the hunters, aren't you? Where's the rest? Wasn't it supposed to be 5? How come there are only 4 there? And it looks like one is just rubbish. That guy is the president of the Residents Association of that village. He was the one who reported to the association's investigators about a demon statue found in a condominium storage room. He asks the hunters to go with him. That old man is a bit strange, I would suspect. There, halfway, in various wreckages, a place completely broken, destroyed. They continue talking. The president of the residents there continues to say that with each passing decade, it seems that society forgets that they exist. People there want to get rich overnight, and some even started to believe in those dirty things, those sects. One guy doesn't want to hear anything, but the rest of the team is very attentive. An old man keeps saying that their son is the same age as you, and he just stays on his cell phone all day. And by the way, when he was younger, he was quite handsome. Apparently, that street over there is much poorer, and the residents have a very low income. Poor things. There are some fruit stands that look like some kind of fair, but they're missing fruit. That's all, my brother. The fruits look fresh, but no one has the money to buy them. But why don't they see any meat stalls? Can't they pay? Is it just his impression? But it seems like there are no children there. Does this mean that the birth rate is extremely low? No, it's possible. Suddenly, a piece of paper comes flying and sticks it in his face. He takes and observes a photo of a girl. Apparently, that's a missing persons ad. Children easily disappear there. But that missing person announcement has no name, no date, no age, nothing. What a strange thing, huh? Then, suddenly, they arrive. That one is the large warehouse abandoned many years ago in that old condominium. A few days ago, when they took out everything inside, they found a large demonic statue. The president of the Residents Association tries to open the hard lock, but his key won't open it again. He already told someone to fix it, but they haven't come yet. Ever since they arrived, that guy has had a bad feeling. If there is an unexpected situation, prioritize people's safety, then the investigation mission, and protect the civilian and the newbie first. A guy looks back and asks what the kids are whispering. Children should not interrupt their elders. What are they talking about? It seems like you spent a lot of time on your cell phone and didn't learn anything good. Oh, catching the attention of a stranger. Okay, she managed to open it. And that place they call themselves a cult of luck. That statue is his god. Followers are said to sacrifice blood to that god. A god brings extreme luck and happiness to the souls of followers. Our protagonist, when he sees that statue, is tremendously horrified. Damn, it has several heads around it and several spines. A completely grotesque situation. Those bones over there apparently are the same bones from the attack the bilingual vice captain suffered earlier. So they are the only survivors there? If they calculate, it has been almost 10 minutes since the start. A danger is about to arrive. Suddenly, that door comes down and hits the floor, locking them inside. The door has now been sealed. While the team leader tells everyone to stay calm and prioritize the protection of that civilian woman and then the newbie. But that old lady starts to smile. She pulls out a knife and says she thought 5 would come, but only 4 came. Last time, to cure my grandfather's illness, I agreed to 5. Missing one is not good. This will complicate things more. She starts to smile and grind her teeth. Okay, 5 lives for God. and suddenly she takes it and plunges the knife into your neck, still smiling. Since there is one left, she will join together and form 5 sacrifices. Suddenly, an earthquake begins in that region. Everything starts to shake. As she falls to the ground, lifeless, the real crisis is coming. Even though this was the strongest team, they were completely annihilated. Then, it starts its simulation of the same state. A girl starts saying that the space transfer power isn't enough to take everyone away, but she also won't leave them there and go alone. The resident's president's blood begins to bubble, and some drops begin to float, heading towards that dead body. Then, suddenly, his eyes begin to glow with a terrifying brilliance, and all that blood starts to spread and starts to get sucked into the body. A guy asks everyone to look carefully. The blood is heading towards the statue's eyes. Damn, what a red glow. The protagonist already thinks that there is no way they can face this. The girl already thinks this thing is S-class. The guy also thinks it's not a mistake. This thing is also S-class. That red glow is a problem. They are immobilized, and not even the power transfer will work now. That statue starts to shake, and those thorns start to come out of its body. Then, suddenly, several of them come towards everyone in that room, without them being able to do anything. After all, they are immobilized. The guy starts to break out in a cold sweat, watching the thorns coming towards him, and believes they can't escape from there. Then suddenly, those bone spikes pierce everyone in that room, and the deduction was completed. So this means they can't look directly into the statue's eyes, otherwise they will be paralyzed. Suddenly, the girl starts saying the same thing. She won't be able to take anyone there, but she won't leave alone. The guy asks everyone to see the blood going into the statue's eyes, but the protagonist asks no one to look at the statue. Everyone is supposed to close their eyes. That being is at least S-class. They can't look at the red glow in their eyes. A guy can't believe how this is possible, but the protagonist says he is now part of their team. It's up to them to trust him this time. One guy just tells them to listen to him. Everyone obeys and closes their eyes. It's best to backtrack quickly and spread out across the warehouse, while the statue continues to emanate that red glow. Unfortunately, now with their eyes closed, how will they know where the attack is coming from? What if the enemy attacks? A guy just thinks he has a really strange feeling of sluggishness in his body, just because the light reached his body. Imagine if they had opened their eyes. But suddenly, that statue starts activating its spikes again. The guy then shouts that the spikes are coming from above. Then the girl uses space magic and transfers all the thorns to another location. He actually managed to predict what was about to happen, but this situation is different from the previous ones. Based on the being's attacks, with each counterattack we make, it will create a butterfly effect. The situation changes quickly. There are many darts and possibilities. They cannot completely predict the outcome of this, so next time, he will try this method for the first time. He then uses his real-time deduction again. The statue continues attacking everyone, but the girl continues to protect, now using her shield. Although they are not paralyzed, their abilities are now considerably limited, and their movements are also slower and also disorganized. The guy starts to doubt, is this guy telling the truth? Because it also really looks like an S-class power, while our protagonist thinks, what will be the next attack? Then it goes into deduction mode again. While the girl is using her space magic, unfortunately, this time she was not able to repel all the spikes. Everyone in that room is completely pierced right now. He just says that the attack is from the side, and the frozen leader activates an ice spear and manages to repel all the bone spikes. The speed of that being is fast. The attack is almost inevitable, and apparently, the newcomer's orders coincide with the movement in which the being attacks. If it weren't for him, there simply wouldn't be time to defend himself. Is that guy the only one in a million to have time control, or is that impossible? While our protagonist is thinking about trying to block a new attack, using deduction to save a defense chance. Then he goes back in and notices another attack. Only this time, the thorns come in a spiral from the left. He then tells Jelong that the attack will come from the left. Better defend yourself quickly. But suddenly, the guy is completely pierced. After all, he doesn't know how to defend himself. He's just a support, poor guy. The protagonist, observing that scene, thinks that he doesn't look like a healer. Then it exits deduction mode. He tells Jelong that he doesn't have any time. Everyone better speed up. One guy then starts activating his Class A skill instant step. While the protagonist says he's coming, everyone better move back. Unlike last time, those bone spikes now cause explosions. Damn, the pressure was terrifying. A guy starts to think that this newbie even knows Jelong's battle type. Isn't it temporal control, or is it perception? Apparently they won't be able to call this guy a rookie again. Our protagonist says that the next one is now on the floor. They don't jump using the girl's ability, and several spikes come out of the ground, almost piercing everyone there. One guy says there's another attack coming after him. It seems that as they move, their their abilities reveal themselves more. A guy starts shouting that now the attack is coming from all sides around him, while the girl uses the shield to protect him. Apparently, that being thinks he is the one responsible for defending all the attacks, and it is directing all attacks towards the protagonist. Now his spirit is reducing more and more, but at least when he opened his eyes during the deduction, he realized that they were close to the exit. He then tells everyone to walk diagonally backwards and to the right and asks the guy to avoid it, and suddenly the two come face to face with each other. The two, still with their eyes closed, begin to argue. One guy starts saying that they don't know the difference between right and left, but the other already said that. In combat between teams, just say north or south, east or west. "What's your problem, newbie?" A guy immediately tells him to shut up, while the other says, "Whoever doesn't know left and right, I'm still stupid." Then the girl gets the support on her back, while the two fight and carry them, telling everyone to go clockwise. While back there, the being still continues to explode everything with its bone spikes. He is increasingly lacking the spirit of deduction, while saying to protect the left side, protect the right side, increase speed. The protagonist tells her not to fly up anymore, because she's going to hit the wall. The door is straight ahead, while the thorns are coming after him. One last step. That was close. They managed to get through that thin metal door that was trapping them. That statue then begins to close its eyes. Finally, they managed to escape. His mental energy was almost depleted, and his bison powers must be depleted as well. After all, that was a Class S being. A guy then pulls the newbie by the tie and gives him a smile, telling him to be honest. What is he hiding anyway? Then, suddenly, he just gets hit in the back of the head. While the protagonist doesn't understand what is happening, another blow comes, and all four of them are quickly laid down, apparently by the crazy population. Then suddenly, he feels like he is awake. Is that what happened? But he refuses to open his eyes. His mental energy is completely full. So, here's the deal. If his mental energy recovers 1 point for every minute of rest, it means he was unconscious for at least 2 hours and is now tied up. Who could have tied him up? A spirit? Or a person? Naturally, I think it was a person. Everything is very quiet, and no one is watching him, apparently. But he decides not to act hastily and open his eyes suddenly. That statue is in front of him. Then, suddenly, he starts to deduce and realizes that he is in a room full of stuffed dolls tied to a bed. It looks very ordinary and quite cozy. He tried to get up. He thought he had become a sacrifice to those gods again. It seems like they just found a random room and locked him there. Good. But suddenly he notices an open window and looks at that in the sky. Scarlet clouds, very red. This is the sign of those high-level portals. They are about to appear. It chipped. He decides to get out of there before those creatures appear. But before that, he needs to know where the other team members are. So he decides to find a way to free himself from those ropes, and apparently there are scissors nearby. That room is completely decorated. It looks like a child's room, a girl's room. It's the first time he's entered a girl's room, but when he sets foot on the floor, apparently there are 2 horrifying eyes looking under the bed, about to catch him. He actually managed to cut those strings, so now he needs to run away and look for help on his own. But the being keeps getting up back there, and suddenly he notices a threatening presence. He turns and looks back and sees a very ugly animal. It looks like a cat, mixed with a human, but very big and thirsty, drooling with hunger, staring straight into his eyes. The cat starts to open its mouth, and a tongue like Symbiosis' tongue appears, and just bites the guy's shoulder, while the guy screams a lot. The guy was already lying on the floor, while that one dragged his leg under the bed, and suddenly, he was already my son. He became dead. His mental energy has been reduced by 20 points. Deduction closed. He incredibly lost 20 points. That death was a very painful death. He didn't die instantly. No, he was just torn apart completely alive. This is no ordinary room. There's a spirit under his bed. Well, the torture begins again. He thinks that as long as he doesn't get out of bed, he won't be attacked. But he also can't stay there forever. He looks at the window and sees that the portal is opening. It's ridiculous. He can't think of anything, how to deal with that spirit. After all, he is still weak in combat skills. He remembers that that guy was emanating black smoke. This means that in that world, life forms are divided into 3 types. 1. Living beings. 2. Spirits. 3. Living beings that, due to prolonged contact with the spirit, were infected by the energy of spirits and lost their mental sanity, characterized by spiritual energy. So, it means that that thing under the bed is not a real spirit, but an infected living being. Then he steps on the ground again and starts to enter his state of deduction, and thinks that those living beings are not as strong as true spirits, and he is determined not to give up. So he starts running to get those scissors and quickly cuts the ropes, and maybe he can get out of there alive, fighting with the scissors. Poor guy. A being then emanates and begins to look at him again. All the confidence he had until now is gone, my brother. Unfortunately, he was torn apart again and lost another 20 points of mental energy. Damn, no chance of winning, poor guy. Really, those action manga are such lies. Yelling catchphrases doesn't create miracles, without a doubt, my son. Really, weak people shouldn't leave their home. Is it because he wanted to be a hunter? But he quickly had an idea. If every time he starts to get out of bed, that animal comes and attacks him again, then it means that the bed is low, and his vision is only on the underside of the bed. So the vision is also low. If he wants to stay alive, he has to pick up the scissors without stepping on the ground. He realizes that there is a chair right nearby, so that means he just jumps on the chair and then jumps on the table, and boom, he is very close to leaking out of there. He doesn't know if that door is locked or not. If it's locked, she'll be able to reach the table handle. Then, he starts to enter his state of deduction and decides to try. First, he jumps on the chair. In fact, he did it. After all, the monster didn't come out. Now, he jumps on the table. So you manage to cut all those ropes, and the next step is very risky, opening the door. He realizes that even though he can't reach the handle, the door isn't locked. It's just leaning against it. He tries to grab the handle on the table, but he still can't. Suddenly the door opens and he manages to hang onto the door and the portal and steps outside and closes the door. Damn, how lucky. He actually managed to escape and is now in the room. But suddenly, a sinister hand hits his shoulder and there is a terrifying four-armed creature, tremendously tall and strange, saying that he has finally found him. The monster comes very close and says to him, "Look, dear, what do you want to eat tonight? Beef, rotten rat meat, maggots, mud, or corpses?" Wow, my brother, look at all the teeth on this animal. You're crazy. He breaks out in a cold sweat and thinks that other than meat, none of the other foods are normal. Beef. That's the only option different from the others. That must be it. He then tells the monster that he must eat beef tonight. The monster closes its mouth and finds it very strange. As he thinks, did he make a mistake? The monster then starts screaming and grabs his face. As he screams no, he pulls some strange strands from his head with another hand, and it looks like the protagonist's head is going to explode. The monster starts screaming, saying that he is not her daughter. "Get out of my house." He starts to drag the protagonist using his arm on some wires connected to his head, and throws him outside the window with tremendous force, shouting for him to get out. He is thrown out of the window of an extremely tall building and the deduction is over. Mental energy lost 18. Holy crap, it's the first time he dies by being thrown to the ground. That feeling is tremendously horrible. He felt all of his bones and muscles completely crushed into the ground and torn apart by the impact. Next time, before he dies, he needs to end the deduction quickly. If he can react in time, maybe he can save some mental energy points. Looking at your system, it thinks your mental energy has increased by 1 point, now 159. Going through that intense, extreme mental pain increases the mental energy limit, but the cost is very high, bro. He still has 100 points of mental energy, maybe 10 more tries. If he tries all the answers to what he's going to eat tonight, he might still figure it out, but that would be a huge waste. After all, when he uses up all his mental energy, he will need to rest for at least 2 hours, and the sky is already showing several signs that he really needs to get out of there. He tries to think somehow while cutting the strings to find a correct answer this time, and he thinks and tries to stay calm and thinks and thinks and thinks some more, all the while trying to calm down. But he keeps remembering the feeling of being torn apart and torn apart. That feeling never leaves his head, poor guy. Why is he thinking about this? This guy just wanted to be an ordinary student. Lie. He wanted to have some kind of job after graduating and date someone. A lie. He wanted to find his mother. Everyone knows that. And then have kids and pay the mortgage, living a predictable life. Oh, he's doing this to find his mother. Now, you remember the objective, right? Shameless. But what if his mother was there? She wouldn't want to see him in that situation, without a doubt, because it's very dangerous. The more he thinks, the more his head becomes tremendously confused. Then, suddenly, a snap in his head. He sees a diary from the owner of that room. It appears to be a girl's diary. He starts reading and sees, "Dear Mommy, the 12th of November, Monday, sunny weather. Today marks 4 years, and it's her birthday. Mom gave me a diary. Thank you very much, Mom. Mom is my great hero. I love her so much, Mom." He remembers that spirit in the room kept saying that he is not her son. So, he arrives on the 23rd of December, Thursday, in sunny weather. Today, he told his teacher and classmates that he lives in a happy family. When she came home, Mom said it wasn't a family of 5, but 4. Rio Preto is not our family. But she thinks that Mom is very wrong, and when she grows up, she will buy him a little house and really delicious cat food. What an adorable little girl. A very loving family. So on the 2nd of March, Monday, it was written in the diary that her grandmother was very sick. And then on the 1st of April, her grandmother's mental state and illness became increasingly worse. She asked Grandma about paradise and death, and for the first time, Grandma hit her. But she doesn't blame Grandma, poor thing, because Grandma cried more than she did. On the 23rd of June, it was very rainy, and it had been almost 6 months since she went to school. Grandma said that children don't need to go to kindergarten, and they need to save money for Grandma's treatment. She agreed, unfortunately, because she wants Grandma to get better. Mom also hasn't worked for 6 months because she has to take care of her sick Grandma. She's so tired, poor thing. And today, for the first time, she saw Grandma and Mom fight. Grandma simply took all the money from the school and gave it to God. And on the 16th of September, from then on, Grandma and Mom fought every day. Grandma was saying that God could save Grandma, and Mom says it's all a devil, that everything has a price. On the 9th of August, it had been 2 years since she had gone to school, and she wanted to go to school, unfortunately, to eat some snacks, play outside, and see lots of nice people. She doesn't like this house much anymore. She doesn't like Mommy's bad food anymore. She doesn't like Grandma's cough or the smell of medicine all over the house. She doesn't like anything there. Everything is strange. On the 28th of March at night, Grandma sneaked out. When she returned, she was carrying a bottle of medicine. Grandma started screaming and didn't want Grandpa to take that medicine. Afterwards, Grandpa calmed down and said he wouldn't take the medicine. Grandpa said that, in truth, he didn't want to leave them or that house, or go to paradise either. On the 10th of November, it was her 7th birthday, and she arrived so excited to receive her gift. After all, she wanted to prepare a surprise for her beloved family, and she wanted to grow up quickly and become strong and free. And suddenly, the diary ran out of pages. It ended. The diary ended there. Damn, what happened to that family? But now he knows what they're going to eat that night. Well then, based on what is written in the diary, that little girl in the room is the daughter of the spirit in the living room, and in that diary, there are several extremely detailed records of that girl's daily habits. Then, he enters his state of deduction and arrives at the part where the spirit asks what they are going to eat that night. Rats, beef, or rotten meat, larvae, sludge, or body. For some reason, that girl's mother and attachment after death turned her into a spirit, but she still cares a lot about her daughter. And he turns around and tells the spirit that he doesn't like anything she cooks. She wants to eat snacks. The spirit then takes his hand and starts saying that children can't eat too many snacks, while he thinks he just needs to follow the diary entries and act based on what the girl acted too. He starts saying that they can't eat snacks because they don't have money to eat, right? Actually, that spirit didn't attack him, and she mistook him for her daughter. The spirit starts to grab him while he is in a cold sweat with those hands, those grotesque claws, and starts to say that, "Mommy, I'm going to go out and play with my friends, okay? I had already made an appointment, but the spirit says he can't leave there because it's already late and no one can leave the house at midnight." The guy starts acting like a spoiled kid and starts screaming and crying, "Mom, Mom, I don't want dinner. I want a snack. I want to go out to play. There's a little more money to spend." He begins to realize that talking is one thing, but acting is much easier than he imagined, because he's just a kid, right? He remembers when his mother was alive. He was very similar to this, but unfortunately, he doesn't remember her face yet, just small shadows of glimpses. It was so good on days with his mother. I'm on, bro. I think his mother is that person who had the ability to predict before, who disappeared, without a doubt. The spirit hands him a plate of food and tells him to be good and eat it all. He begins to observe the delicious dish in front of him. Holy shit. So those were the dinner dishes that she listed that were real. Why is there a human body in the middle of there? Now he understands. The dishes have maggots. They have human fingers. They have rats. Everything is good and the best. How delicious, my friend. Now he understands that in that poor neighborhood, someone is using the spirits to kill. Even if the police find out, the blame can be placed on the spirits. Those spirits may have already killed several people thrown into that room. He shouldn't be the first. But what if it was a human who threw him there? Why didn't that spirit attack whoever brought him there? The spirit comes closer and starts drooling, asking what else his little daughter wants to eat. Whatever her baby wants, Mommy will give. The guy starts to sweat, wondering how much longer this torture will last. The simulation limit is 10 minutes, and it is almost over. He needs to find a quick solution to end this spirit, or get out of this situation. That spirit said that late at night you cannot go out. In other words, in her perception, it is dawn now. So, he takes the spirit's hand and says that whenever they said something, that she works hard. It's already late. Don't worry so much about me, and goes to sleep. The spirit fell silent froze. Did he exaggerate, or was he too artificial in his words? It chipped. It seems that the spirit realized that he is not her son, but suddenly, that spirit starts to hug him with his 4 arms. A very strong hug, crying tears of blood. He says, or she says, the spirit says that her daughter has grown so much. She's learning to take care of her mommy. Look, Mom was very emotional, but the guy finds this very scary. That emotional spirit is even more terrifying. Bloody tears streaming down his face. Damn. The guy then pulls her weave out of the room and tells her to go into the room and get some rest. Apparently that room is supposed to be her room. If he can get her there and she's really calm, it won't be too scary. His plan is as follows. Make that spirit sleep, and as soon as she sleeps, he will leak into the living room and get out of there. But then, suddenly, he sees a bottle of medicine and sees that it's a bottle of sleeping pills. Does Mom have insomnia problems? It looks like there's a little bit in there. He picks up the bottle of medicine and tells Mom to take a little, because so she can sleep better. The spirit takes the medicine bottle and begins to scratch her head, thinking she never had insomnia problems and never needed sleeping medicines. Why does the room have sleeping medicines? Choked. Now the protagonist is shocked. The spirit remembered everything and she is already dead. Why did she die? Why, my son? My daughter was lost and no one has ever been found. That means that guy there is not his son. Now, our protagonist went to ditch. The monster begins to growl and advance toward him with his 4 arms and his mouth full of teeth. The spirit begins to say that he is not his son. Where is his daughter? Where's my daughter? Damn. That being recovered his memory, and he needs to end the simulation immediately. The spirit starts to scream, "Have my dear daughter Tintin? Where are you?" Choked. He knows that name. Her daughter's name is exactly the same as Tintin's colleague, who died a week ago. Unfortunately, he could not save his colleague. The spirit begins to open that big mouth, threatening to eat it at once. As he distracted himself and suddenly swallowed, the guy went to the grave, completely torn, and he lost 20 energy points. This means he was slowly killed and eaten. He wakes up tremendously trembling, and after taking all those ropes on the table, he is remembering the unbearable pain of that mouth, full of teeth, stuck in his flesh. But this time, he doesn't want to give up. A week ago, he couldn't even save that colleague, Tintin, and that was the greatest regret of his life. But this time, he wants to help this mother, who also has a daughter named Tintin. Even if her mother has become a spirit, a mother is always a mother. What if it was with him? It doesn't matter that his mother has become. She would always be his mother, and think Tintin would think the same. Then he steps outside and asks if his mother works hard, which today he will prepare dinner. After all, her daughter disappeared, and his mother is missing too. He has many fresh ingredients in that house, while the spirit continues to watch. Although he doesn't know where his daughter is, if she comes back, she will surely want to have a good meal with her mother. The spirit begins to look at that tremendous food. While he thinks that this is the first time he has chosen not to activate the simulation but is not afraid at all, he asks that mother spirit to eat together. And at that moment, apparently, it seems to be just a family dinner, without waste or loss. That room before was full of dust. While he picks up and hides the medicine, he says Mama works hard, and it's for her to sleep early. And he also imagines that this girl also disappeared, and Tintin's mother avoided getting into that room. Poor, because she was afraid to remember her daughter. So in that diary, she was probably never opened by her mother. He then starts to leave the room, thanking Mom that she is his heroine, and he loves her. The feeling of that girl, he managed to pass to that spirit, while the spirit lying says that her little girl grew up. Good night, and tears of blood comes out of your eyes. Now, the mother's situation has been resolved, but he keeps thinking he couldn't save that colleague in the past and future. If he has the opportunity, he will find more clues about her disappearance. Bai Gentile was right to criticize him. Is this too sentimental? How can you sympathize with the spirit? He remembers that there is still another room next door. That house has 3 bedrooms and a room. In the first room, there is that infected creature. In the second, the spirit of the mother who lost her daughter. And the third, what does it have? You so linked that you have 2 couple of 12 yet, right? He decides not to test what he has in that room. He doesn't want to know what happened to that whole family, and just wants to get out of there fast. Meet others. But before opening that door, he thinks and begins to enter a paranoia. What if you have more spirit in the hallway? But he still has mental energy points and decides to use them to see how the situation is outside before leaving. Then he opens the door and suddenly someone interrupts, asking if he can, she along with him. Heck, another spirit, and this time completely different. Impossible. Wasn't that family a family of 4? How can there be someone else inside? Heck, neither gender nor age beat. Why is that being there? That's it. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If this video hit the goal, we will run after the next parts. Thanks for watching and staying with the next video.
The girl looks at him and asks if he can get her out of there. After all, she can't find her body anymore, but he feels all the pressure coming from her body. That spirit is more oppressive than any spirit he has faced so far. All he wants is to run away. Foot to where you're wanted. He starts to run. That spirit begins to walk behind him, emanating a strange aura. As she says he can't escape, she sometimes starts to jump. She asks if he has found her body. Then a hole opens in her hand and blood comes out, forming a kind of dagger. She then starts throwing several daggers at him. Some fall very close to him while he is running. Apparently those daggers, when they fell in the shadow, damaged his soul. Now he can't move. He is immobilized. She throws more daggers at him, saying he is not allowed to leave. He looks back and sees all those blood daggers. When he is about to die, he tries to finish the deduction quickly, and finally he manages to do it. He lost only 10 spirit points. Phew, that was close. The shock of the experience was so great that he even fell on his butt on the ground. Unfortunately, he won't be able to leave there. Not through that door. There's another ghost in that room. As long as he wants to leave, she will appear. That means he can't go without finding the body. Is her body in that house? But he walked through the whole house and found nothing. In the living room, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the first room, in the second room, as well as the last room. He still has 70 spirit points out of 159. He then gets closer to the room, wondering what is wrong with that room and who that ghost was a moment ago. He then starts to open that door, and from inside several coughing sounds begin to come out. Wow, there's another ghost inside that room. There's an old man lying in bed, coughing a lot. He looks frail, a spirit coughing. He asks if his dear one has come back. While the protagonist thinks this isn't right, that's not a ghost, it's just an old man. Is there really a living person in that family, in that house, surrounded by so many ghosts? The guy starts saying he was so sick he could hardly stand. How did he survive in a place full of evil? He starts to sweat cold. Suddenly he begins to observe the entire room. Apparently there are several pictures of the family together. Wait a minute, this is a family of 4. Jean Jaffu has a grandfather, a mother, a granddaughter, and a cat. Suddenly we see a flashback of that grandmother, asking if they are from the Hunter Association. She is the director of the neighborhood on that street, but we noticed she had pulled a knife last time. Do you remember? And she herself took her own life. After all, she needed 5 people. Now he understands. The grandmother was the president of the neighborhood committee, so this means she committed suicide just to save her husband. Apparently there is an endless flow of sacrifices. That evil god. But unfortunately that old man is seriously injured and is just fighting to stay alive. That grandmother committed suicide in the morning. In other words, he cannot wait for her to come home any longer. An old man asks who he is and where his or his wife's old items are. After all, she left early in the morning saying she was going to fetch someone from the Hunter Association, but hasn't returned yet. He starts to say he is part of the Hunter Association, thinking that man might be the only survivor of that family. He only mentions that his council asked him to help find his granddaughter. After all, that may also be the biggest disaster of his life. The old man then takes his hand and hands something over, saying that the bad commission has a face, and that's all he has. If it's not enough, he'll find a way. He might get enough money. Unfortunately, that old man had some notes and a few low-value coins. Poor guy. An old man who thinks that young man is truly promising, even though he is so young. Unlike him, an old man who never dies. His vision isn't good, but his illness is getting worse. He was the one who ruined that whole family. He remembers when he was young. He and his wife held hands, married very young, and grew old together. A few years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer. The doctors even said he wouldn't live for a few days. His wife started looking for help with some unconventional methods. She became increasingly paranoid while he watched, unable to do anything or understand what was happening. But he knew something was very wrong. He started saving sleeping pills for a long time, intending to end his own life. But his wife found out and she begged him not to leave her. Even though he didn't want to live anymore, he would never refuse her request because he loved her so much. Thus he spent long days and nights in his room. His illness worsened and his body became more exhausted. Hanging by a thread for centuries, half dead and half alive, he could breathe. One day he was an adult in a house. When he woke up, he found out his granddaughter was missing. He thought she must be playing. He believed she was hiding somewhere. But unfortunately she never came back. He thinks it's all his fault. Poor guy. If that fragile body of his were good, he would look for his granddaughter. After the granddaughter disappeared, his daughter-in-law secretly took the bottle of sleeping pills and swallowed them all in one go. Unfortunately now his family, it went to the grave, everyone died, and now only a mad woman remains, disturbed and an immortal old man. He bows his head, we search for tears to cry, but the body is so weak that none fall. He said that family was completely destroyed by him. He searched everywhere for his granddaughter, but he never found her. He really wanted to see Chan Chan one last time. He would like to know if she managed to find her way home. Our protagonist looks at the bills and coins. He squeezes them, saying he will take on his task. He will get Chan Chan and bring her here to see him one last time. So this is the end of the endless deduction. In numbers, previous points converged in his mind. He thinks he knows where Chan Chan, the missing one, is. Finally, he discovered the whole truth about that family of 4. Then he begins to open the other door, thinking he will end this now. He arrives there again. There she is, asking if he can take her away. He looks to the side and says he can. He won't fall for that sweet trick again. That is Ranzo's sweetness. She is very happy and says she has been stuck in that room for a long time because she can't find her body. He looks at her while noticing that she seems like a mature woman, but they call him brother, while he looks like a college student still. This means he must be quite young too. While she is there thinking about something, he remembers what was written there. The ghost is generated by the obsession of humans in the face of death. If Chan Chan is dead, then her obsession can become a mature adult, yearning for freedom and strength. He remembers that in that letter it was written that Chan wanted to go to school, loved to eat, play, and also wanted to be free. She didn't like staying at home and also didn't like wearing those bags and ugly clothes from mommy. She doesn't like the constant shouting of her grandfather, nor the smell of food, all those things we already know. But among them there was one intriguing thing, her desire to grow strong and free. So if you understand it this way, the family of 4 is complete. She starts taking the cat out of the room. She observes everything. The cat's food, the cat's bowl. This means it is a family of 5. After all, do you remember that black cat? In one part of that letter she always said it was a family of 5, not 4, because the cat was also her relative. The black cat never leaves its owner's side. The first time he woke up in the room he was under the bed. In theory, that monster is a creature infected with strange energy. Those creatures have been with the ghost for many years. The cat, upon seeing its owner's presence, begins to revert. It transforms into a very cute feline. For now, my dear gentlemen, the name of this cat is Kuroko. If the black cat is loyal and can stay with its master, then that means he starts dismantling the bed. He wants to see what is underneath, because that cat was hiding under the bed and wouldn't let anyone come near. Maybe it's because the owner's body is under there, pinned beneath the bed. My goodness, what a scene. That ghost had holes of blood and nails all over its body. These are the marks left by the nails on the corpse. Suddenly that ghost starts to remember. She remembers Jindo, the evil pantlegs, showing all its power. Meanwhile, the old lady was showing her devotion to a terrifying statue. She began to pray in all her prayers. It would be good if her old man could live one more day to pay this price. She was willing to pay, whatever that price was. Suddenly her granddaughter enters the room. She holds a very cheerful gift while continuing to pray. She said that even if it meant sacrificing her own life or anyone else's life, she would be willing. Meanwhile, her granddaughter was laughing, calling out Grandma's name. She said that Grandma had been very happy lately. She used all her allowance money to buy some gifts and wanted to surprise her. Suddenly Grandma looks at her and says, "Sweet dear granddaughter, come back here very quickly." But all that is there now is just a skull with shining eyes. In the flashback, a strange power pierced the girl's chest. Grandma begins to call her granddaughter my sweet love, while the monster says it accepts the sacrifice. That was the first time that evil spirit appeared and took the first life. It gave more life to Grandpa. While she cried a lot with her granddaughter's body in her lap, the spirit was smiling. She felt bad and wanted to throw that statue away, but unfortunately she surrendered. Even regretting it, she could not turn back because she had already started the killing. So she kept killing more and more people just to satisfy that monster and give more life to her grandpa. The ghost starts screaming, remembering everything. The screams echo through the room. Wow, apparently she is back. Our protagonist wonders if this will spiral out of control and become violent. He must immediately start his deduction state. But suddenly he notices that spirit is gone, and there is the body of a girl. The cat comes closer and starts meowing, rubbing against her. She then opens her eyes, asking if her grandpa is alive. Was she able to help? But the protagonist says nothing. Poor thing. Then there in the old man's room, he feels something very strange. Suddenly he looks and sees his granddaughter's face smiling at him. The marks are covered by her bangs. She starts to say that she is home. He raises his trembling hands and says that he finally sees his sweet granddaughter once again. She is back home. Finally he touches her face and asks how she is. Grandpa's baby has grown quite a bit. Unfortunately, the protagonist realizes that Grandpa has noticed she is dead. After all, the body temperature of a dead person is completely different. As soon as he touched her, he felt her body was extremely cold. He begins to close his eyes and says that finally Grandpa can rest in peace. He closes his eyes. His granddaughter told the old man that he never asked her for anything. They were born on the same day, and coincidentally they will die on the same day, in the same month, and in the same year. She did not expect this. But look who showed up there. Grandma. She is gathered here. She simply tells him that he will not feel alone walking the path to the underworld. Then his spirit leaves his body and they reunite once again. He begins to tell her that he would never abandon her, and she replies that she believes him. Now the only one left is the other one, who suddenly is already there too, hugging her dear daughter. Mommy starts to say that her little girl will always be by her side. She just tells her mother not to worry. After all, they are going together. It is truly a sad scene. Suddenly he realizes that apparently the warmth of the soul is very hot. He feels the same kind of warmth as when his mother was nearby. The spirit then begins to dissolve into a strange object. It enters his chest. That girl entered his necklace. Can that necklace hold ghosts? But she touches his chest and tells him to promise one thing, that he must take good care of Chan Chan and take her away from here. She wants freedom. She wants to see the outside world. She will be the most sincere helper he can have in this life. In return, she will give him a gift, but this gift will only be given when he needs it the most, and everyone disappears from there. Now our protagonist is alone in that house. He looks at that photo and says that one day he will also need to die, but he is also afraid of death and of a loved one. While still observing that photo, he remembers that he thinks a lot about the distance between life and death. That seems infinitely large. Later he will discover that missing someone is also extremely precious. He thinks that the rest of his life may not be that long. Someday they will meet in another world. Soon that family of 5 came to an end, although there are still a few questions to resolve. For example, how did Grandma and Grandpa, 2 humans, live in that house with monsters? Who is it possible to be so happy in a house to the point of being truly unhappy? He just wanted to solve that problem, but there is still much time to think about it. First he has to escape that apartment. He only realized this after 18 years. That gold chain his mother left for him might hold more things. Is she really dead? He holds the necklace and says it seems like he could put even some strange items inside it. According to legend, the weight of a soul is 21 grams, so that means he still has 8. Ever since he activated that type of system, his life has been very strange and dangerous. After practicing repeatedly, unknowingly, he feels that he is gradually becoming braver and also very sleepy, and suddenly he starts to pay to try to restore his mental strength. While he thinks that later he will properly bury his grandpa and grandma, he also wants to take that girl to see the world outside. I went down, and the others must be facing the same danger as him. He has to find them quickly to get out of there. After all, Otsuka is waiting for him. Then suddenly he wakes up. Another extremely large and red hole appears in the sky. He wonders how many hours he has slept. Apparently it was 1 or 2. He has regained his mental state. Suddenly he notices a huge portal in the sky and several monsters about to emerge from there. He has to get out of there fast. But out of nowhere, he hears a noise at the door. Someone is knocking at the door. Are there still humans living there? Or are there monsters outside? Some strange noises kept repeating. I know you are there. I see you. The doorknob was spinning frantically, but the door wouldn't open. Open that door and let me in. I see you. Lee approached, a whirlwind of questions in his mind. Wait a second, does Chansan's mom go by So-El? Is she my neighbor? What is a neighbor doing here in the middle of the night? His eyes lit up like little lights. I can see everything. When the simulation began, Lee Chawai rested his hand on the door. Soon after, he felt a sinister voice along with intermittent giggles. Open the door and let me see you. He leaned closer to the peephole, trying to spy on who was on the other side. What he saw made his heart race, an endless sea of glowing red eyes. It was true terror. I see you. He trembled and by instinct took a step back, letting out an involuntary scream. Lechuwei was frozen with fear. Those are human eyes, but they are already... Suddenly he touched one of the eyes, feeling a strange sensation. Then bloodstains began to appear. My eye hurts like hell. He fell to his knees, holding his face and screaming in pain. I think I'm going to explode from the pain. I gritted my teeth and pulled my hand away, stunned. What the hell is this? One of his eyes split into several red pupils. Your eyes are delicious. He looked at his hands that began to tremble uncontrollably. My hands are not mine. They rose quickly as if they wanted to close around their own throat. Green veins began to appear around the eyes. My hands do not obey me. I am suffocating. Stop it once and for all. The red eye tightened a bit. I see you, Lisha. Wow. Quickly, he interrupted the simulation and faced the door. The moans outside continued. It's me. I know you are home. I am watching you. The being banging on the door was a voracious demon. It was so confused that, feeling the sweat running down its face, it thought, I can't look him in the eye or I'll be controlled. The banging on the door echoed non-stop. If he did nothing, the monster would soon break in forcefully. He ran to the dining table in search of something. At that moment he realized that, after so many experiences, he was braver than before. Upon finding a knife, he murmured to himself, my fear is diminishing. My emotions are calming down. Firmly, Lisha wielded the dagger and walked towards the door. His methods were becoming more cruel and determined. He was meant to keep practicing, drying his emotions from within. His eyes filled with fury, he brandished the knife. One day he would become stronger. He thrust the blade through the door, aiming directly at the monster's eye. The shadow of the old man behind him became stronger. While attacking the monster, he grabbed its eye and stepped back, falling to the ground. Seizing the chance, he opened the door and ran out. I will finish you. I will kill you. After running for a while, Lisha felt confused. Where is the exit? How do I get out of this building? Anxiety took over him when he saw something ahead. A middle-aged woman was opening a door, waving and shouting, Run, young man, it's a monster, come hide in my house. Her face was in a radiant smile as if she already saw a dinner. Come in quickly. He began to feel that something was wrong. His eyes sparkled. Let me see. Upon activating the simulation, he realized that she was nothing but a gigantic monster, drooling insatiably. You must taste very good. Surprise took over Lisha. It's a devouring monster. Suddenly the creature opened its mouth, threatening to lunge forward. He quickly stopped the simulation, returning to reality. Without another thought, he ran uncontrollably. Without forgetting to look back, he shouted, Get out of the way, you're a monster too. Now he would not hide anymore. He quickly transformed and started to chase him. The elevator was ahead, but the 2 monsters behind were getting closer. He thought, 36th floor. If I can get out of this floor using the elevator. Suddenly the elevator arrived at the 36th floor. What is this? The elevator door, slowly opening, revealed a giant monster that had just eliminated a person. What are you looking at? There's another monster here. The monster with a hole in its face roared. Are you challenging me? His eyes widened. He was known for getting furious. The monster grabbed his collar and lifted him into the air. No, I can't get into the elevator because you are blocking my way. Do you want to provoke me? Ignoring the situation, Lichia White decided to run for the emergency stairs. I have to use the emergency exit. Descending the stairs from the 36th floor, he knew it was his only way out. He slightly tilted his head to take a look at the three monsters behind him. He couldn't believe what he saw. Behind him was the faceless monster that had defeated the other two. A provocation. What was happening? Would the monsters fight? Seeing the emergency exit sign, he realized it was his last chance. But the color in his face disappeared and he abruptly stopped. A jewel-covered hand blocked his path. This hallway is mine. If you want to pass, pay me. I accept Pix. Another demon fully covered in gold appeared. No money? Then read. Hawaii cast a glance at the approaching demon, despair overwhelming him. Leaving my life behind? I might have to accept that. Without thinking much, the demon carrying a bag full of things charged forward. He sank his teeth into Lichia's shoulder, making blood spray. Damn, no more pretending. I can't fight like this. With a quick movement, he launched himself down the stairs. In his mind, he repeated, I can't get distracted. If I'm not careful, I'll end up falling and dying. Summoning hasty courage, he reached the emergency exit. This is my only way. I can't give up. I need to be smarter. The demon repeated the same phrase as before. Suddenly, his eyes sparkled. He felt intense. The bag full of money was on the monster's back. In the blink of an eye, it all happened like lightning. If I am right, then in anger, he threw the bag far away. The demon was confused, not understanding what was happening. As he watched the bag flying, he questioned himself. Why is my money bag there? A greedy demon. Oh. The bag hit the faceless demon's arms with a thud. The two stood still, staring at each other. The greedy demon's gaze was fixed on the money. Without a doubt, he would try to recover his bag. First, in anger, he pointed. You stole my money. The faceless demon was not going to let that pass. He clenched his fists and roared, filled with fury. You challenged me. The atmosphere was tense. One wanted to kill the other. Watching the fight, Liachi seized the chance to sneak away. They will destroy each other. That gives me time. But it won't last long, he thought, gritting his teeth. He started to run as fast as he could. In the end, it didn't matter who would win. Both would come after him. Moments ago, the greedy demon exclaimed, I think I'm screwed, and tripped. The corridor of the building seemed to be his battlefield. As long as he could escape, the demons wouldn't be at his door anymore. What luck! He grabbed the railing, trying to find courage. I need to run more before they catch me. I have to get down from the 36th floor to the 1st floor. I must escape this building. Catching his breath, he shot down with all his strength. Luckily, the greedy demon wasn't on the stairs. Besides him, there were no other demons. Faster, faster, I have to speed up for real. The adrenaline pulsed and buzzed in his ears. His heart beat fiercely, reverberating throughout the building. I need to get past the 36th floor. The turns seemed the same to him. Everything blended into an illusion that blinded his vision. He kept moving frantically in an endless cycle. The images repeated, the same steps running. Liachi's eyes were closing, but stopping was not an option. Look back. Don't think. That thought never crossed his mind. Just run to save his life. Blood flowed through his body. It seemed like he was channeling all his energy. After a while, exhaustion began to show. He was gasping. 1 floor, then 3 more, and more floors. His feet began to wobble. It must have been over 30 floors. 25th floor, 20th floor. Lichia White's body was numb. It was unable to move. 13th, 12th, 11th floor. His legs were completely lifeless. It felt like he had run for an eternity. His body hit the limit, and at the same time he reached that point, he forced himself even more, repeating everything over and over again. The simulation came to an end. Lichia opened his eyes abruptly. The sound of the door echoed again. Let me in, please. I want to see you. As he observed the scene in front of him, horror emerged in his eyes. What is happening? Why did the simulation end? Did I die? It can't be. A slight panic enveloped him internally. He started thinking, no, I didn't die. Time is running out. With his eyes fixed on the screen, he began to analyze the limits of the simulation. What can happen in 10 minutes with my strength? I can't get down from the 36th floor in 10 minutes. Totally insufficient. He was confused, not knowing what to do. And now? This was the first time he had a glimpse of the future, but he didn't fully understand it. What could be at the end of the stairs? He was already too nervous to risk it in real life, when everything was a mystery. The door was pounding non-stop, with cracks beginning to appear. The door was about to give in. The demon was about to invade. Slowly, Lichia stepped back. He reached the end. The demon is almost here, and I have no escape plans at all. What will I do? I will die here. Suddenly, the memory of the promise to Chanchan's mother revived in his mind. No, I won't die here. Lichia firmly grasped the necklace in his hand. I promised to take Tantia to see the world and also protect BG Bowling, and discover what happened to my mother. After an intense internal confrontation, Lichia's eyes took on a new determination. I can't die here. Quickly, the door was shattered by the demon that entered with an absolutely terrifying expression. I see you. Immediately, one of your eyes was pierced by the trash can knife. The terrifying scream echoed as he pulled out the knife and struck again. What you see is who is about to end you. Guys, you won't believe what happened. The demon's eyes were pierced and blood splattered everywhere. The guy just went crazy. But wait, now it's Lichia's turn. He shouts, it's me, and runs down the hallway. He even flips the bird at the faceless demon. What audacity. Of course, he doesn't forget to point at the monster behind him, like he wants to challenge you with that. Lichia manages to grab the greedy demon's bag of cash. Then, filled with energy, he shouts, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." After that, he throws the bag at the faceless demon. That's when the guy realizes what he's doing. Finishing up this risky move, he bolts down the stairs trying to clear his head. He repeats to himself, calm down, calm down. He remembered the analysis he did, it couldn't be wrong. He realizes that the building is filled with monsters. Seriously, how nerve-wracking. Running from 306 to the first floor seemed like the only way out. Adrenaline was pumping through his veins, and even without knowing if the way was completely fake, he pressed on and thought, gathering courage like this is new for me. He is focused on the mission. I will follow what I only saw in the simulation. I need to persist. Approaching the first floor, he is about to see true hope. But like in a horror movie, he has not been followed by any monster so far. But suddenly his body jolts. Finally, he reaches the first floor, but hope does a cruel flip. The door in front of him is locked. What tension, huh? He kneels helplessly before that door. The door is closed. Total panic. And then a chilling sound echoes behind him. The greedy demon's footsteps are getting closer. And now the path ahead is blocked. Monsters behind him. The pressure mounts. The trash can's face is so pale it looks like he saw a ghost. In despair, he thinks, this is a dead end. He criticizes himself. He shouldn't have chosen this path. But now there's no turning back. His gaze is filled with fear. No way out. At that moment, his mind just goes blank. Your billionaire is really the end. But the greedy demon is approaching. And this is serious, guys. He wonders, will I die here? In a flash, the demon releases money immediately or die. Lichia is cornered, pressed against the door. Seriously. Now he is on the edge, right? He is so close to madness that he even sees hallucinations. Outside, he swears he hears the key being unlocked. Then suddenly, his expression changes. A glimmer of hope. Wait, the key. He connects the dots. It could be. Then, with a swift motion, a hand appears from outside and grabs his collar. Lichia is pulled out with incredible force. The door opens, and outside he plops. He falls to the ground wide-eyed, full of surprise and fear. He can't believe it. A security guard shouts, "Hurry, close the door." He reaches out to help Lichia get up. He looks like a worried father. "Hey son, go over there. Take my hand." Phew, we close the door and the thing is trapped. But wow, the door has already started to crack and the demon continues pounding and shouting. My god, he is angry. Open up, hurry. And amidst the noise, he screams, "Give me the money, otherwise you'll die." Attention, it's up there. Lichia's group is fleeing desperately. The man in the hat runs, explaining, "We are the security here." He says he heard the commotion and ran to help. "This place is dangerous. Run fast. Alert the Hunters Association." He is so happy that he starts thanking the two men non-stop. "Finally, I found living people." He is super grateful. Thank you for saving me." And meanwhile, the leading man shouts, "Hurry up, kid." Soon he instructs, "We'll take you to a safe place." Okay, I won't forget you." With that, he turns. Until the scene behind him makes Lichia look in fear. The whole building is surrounded by demons. What's going on? It's not just one area. There are creatures everywhere. The door was definitely not open. Were they waiting here all along? And he wonders, there were living people here, right? After running for quite a while, the guard shouts, "We made it!" He takes Lichia to a warehouse and warns, "This warehouse is safe. You hide here and I will report to the association." Lichia smiles with relief. "Thank you, everyone. Be careful." He clearly remembers that these warehouses give a sense of security. But suddenly his expression changes. Wait, this warehouse, he has been trapped here before. What were they thinking bringing everyone here? Inside there was a statue of a giant, the evil god. Suddenly the thought hits. Those two guards were a bit suspicious. Were they part of the system? Suddenly he releases a notification, starting the simulation. Lichia screams in pain. At that exact moment, the guards truly showed who they were. A sacrifice to the god. Right behind Lichia, an enormous monster appears, ready to swallow him whole. The system makes that announcement. Simulation ended. Suddenly, Lichia is back in the present, terrified. The guards are still there, wearing smiles of those who are having fun. Taking advantage of this pause, don't forget to check if your notification bell is turned on. Got it? Let's get back to what matters. Well done, kid. He turns the key, opens the warehouse door, and calls his friend. Let's go. It's not the time to stand still here. This place is super safe. Then, like lightning, Lisho Hawaii appears with a heavy brick in hand. He hits the guard, who falls, spitting blood. The other guard, hearing the noise, turns around, looking shocked. Lichia, determined, doesn't waste any time. With all his strength, he throws the brick forward. After taking down both, he throws the brick to the ground. "I haven't been cruel enough yet. I only managed to leave them on the floor. Let the Lord take care of the rest." He sighs tiredly. In this place, worship of demons seems to be the norm. If they haven't been attacked yet, it's because they offer sacrifices to an evil god. He realizes once and for all, this god is the most powerful demon here. What madness! This place is treacherous. Even humans can't escape its influence. He can't take it anymore. He needs to get out of here. Outside, some guards are patrolling the residential area. There's the patrol. Of course, everyone there is a devotee of this evil god. He pulls the hood down, trying to hide. If they find out I'm an intruder, they will immediately hand me over to the evil god. The only way out is to act like a security guard until I find a way to escape. Lichia, passes as a security guard, but suddenly the guy stops. Concern rises up his spine. The security guard watches him with a suspicious look and shouts, "What are you doing?" Licia clenches his fists, mentally cursing the guy. "If you advance any further, I suspect you. Demon, I've never seen you here before. What are you up to?" He starts asking questions. "Why are you here? You look so out of place. At the beginning of the year, it was hard to find a job. My aunt got me one at the warehouse. Yes, because she is part of the popular committee. That's how it works. No need to check. Today at the warehouse, we will only take the goods." He didn't want to, but he ended up getting into the truck with this guy, leaving without options. Inside the truck, he was in a desperate situation, sweating cold from fear. In his head, he tried to come up with an excuse to escape. Does the warehouse serve this god? It's crucial. It can't be empty. I really need to go back. I barely escaped being caught. What a thrill. The man turns around angrily, which only increases his fear, and he thinks, "Newbie, just follow the orders. Today is the day to deliver the goods. Nothing is more important. Got it? Later, I will jump out of the car and run." The square? No way. Even while his adrenaline was boiling, Licia felt sick. He pressed his lips together to avoid crying. "I just want to get out of this land of demons quickly." Then, looking at the man, he starts to tremble. Stuttering, he asks, "Boss, what kind of goods are we transporting?" Before the man could respond, Licia's jaw drops at what he sees on the main road. Humans and demons walking together, without a hint of fear. What is this? Demons don't kill people here? What kind of place is this? The man, on the other hand, seems calm. Without being surprised, he drives slowly, saying, "The goods we are carrying are people. They are going to the square. They will hold a ceremony to welcome the god." This leaves Licia confused and excited. He asks, "And us?" The man interrupts him, correcting him angrily. "We are followers of a god. No, of mere mortals. Your aunt didn't explain anything to you. Look at our devotion." He observes ahead where humans and demons walk together. "They do not attack us because we have the protection of the gods." Ah, and that story about the huge monster in the warehouse? "We spent the whole day near this god. We absorbed his aura." Licia's expression changes immediately. Her face turns purple with the information. This security guard calls the demons emissaries of the god. It's serious. He is completely out of touch with reality. He reaches for his shirt, realizing that due to the security uniform, he ended up absorbing a bit of that aura too. So, the demons won't attack me, right? With these thoughts running through his mind, he touches the doorknob, making an internal plan. "If things get ugly, I will jump out of the car and run." But in an instant, the guard makes a strange face and warns. The sacrifice ceremony is about to begin. Those 3 hunters will be offered to the god. When the gate opens, he will descend. These words freeze Licia. His eyes widen. 3 hunters. And right then, in the square, a terrifying black and red gate begins to appear in the sky, opening slowly. Below, a crowd gathers. Gi Bing and Geng Long are tied to a platform made of strange bones, along with 2 other civilians kneeling and terrified. A young man tied up shouts, "I'm just here for the delivery. Why are you detaining me? You're not going to kill me. You will." The blonde man, with a murderous look, gives a wicked smile and replies, "Do you think you are worthy to be an offering? This will take time. Your hour comes after those hunters are gone." Billy stands paralyzed, speechless at the sight. A man crying in despair cries out, "Mom, help me." And at that moment, a man with black hair approaches Dee and laughs sinisterly. With joy in his voice, he says, "Orenge Hunter and Arena Hunter are the perfect offerings now. It will be enough to open the gate." G's blood boils upon hearing those words. The guy responds full of mockery, having a great time with the situation. He said, "Let's see if this god you believe in can swallow them." And he made sure to remind, "And don't forget to not let him die, alright?" On the other side, and she tried to move, but she was completely paralyzed in despair. She thought, "These demonic bones have cruelly trapped me. My abilities are completely suppressed. Now I am just a mortal with nothing awakened." As if a snap of remembrance hit her, she fixated on the man with black hair. "What about Licia? We still have another member on the team, right?" He widened his pale eyes. With a sarcastic smile, he replied, "That kid is useless now. He was fed by a demon long ago." These words left Gui in shock. A cold sweat trickled down his forehead. "What? That kid is dead?" Seeing the smug smile of the dark-haired man, Bai already understood. He raised his head, filled with rage, and shouted, "You had the guts to touch a teammate." Suddenly, Bai's gaze shifted to something. A chill ran down his spine at that moment. Licia had arrived in the square. He was in the middle of the crowd, looking cautiously ahead. He thought to himself, "I decided to run away, but I ended up back here." In the blink of an eye, Chia and Gui's gazes met. He panicked, his eyes wide. Continuing to look, he saw 2 other familiar figures, Anvia Ling and Gen Long. They were about to be killed. He reflected, ignoring the words of the dark-haired man. "Hey little boy, don't be so arrogant. You will be the first." Bide watched Licia Wai closely. He looked in his direction. Bide's face darkened, his eyes fixed on a single point. He murmured something softly. Licia read his lips and quickly realized, "Run." He stopped, surprised. "Are you telling me to run? You don't want me to save?" Thinking this, Chihuahua adjusted his hat. "That's right. With just my strength, I can't save everyone." Then, he turned and began to move away from the crowd. Secretly, he devised a new plan. "I need to run. First, I have to call for reinforcements so that the association sends stronger hunters and saves as many innocent people as possible." He started to run, not stopping to think. All the communication devices were destroyed here. I need to run outside. Each step he took became faster. He imagined a bright future. Waiting for the association to send help could be the key to saving those in danger. But concern returned. Surely it is too late to save G and the other two who are almost being sacrificed, just like last week's situation. Sacrificing G and the other two for hundreds of innocent people, or risking everything to try to save G and everyone. He stopped abruptly, determined. He clenched his fist, reviewing everything. If I fail, I die here too. If I don't send a distress signal, the lives of hundreds of people will be in my hands. Logically, giving up the lives of the three sounded like the most reasonable idea. The need to decide between the three left him more confused. He kept repeating to himself, what do I do now? Then he kept running, feeling he could not abandon Jay and his companions. He passed by a bunch of demons, wondering all the time, what do I do now? For a moment he was startled to see a familiar figure, that greedy one. Upon seeing him looking around, an idea crossed his mind. I need to make him follow me. He picked up a stone from the ground. I have an ace up my sleeve. He threw the stone directly at the greedy one's head. As he noticed the movement, the guy turned his head and tipped his hat, trying to attract the attention of the demon-like figure. Stupid. Are you looking for me? He provoked loudly. This made the greedy one tremble with rage. Look at you, apparently there's no saving you now. Finally, he made a charming grimace, raised his middle finger and challenged, do you still want to catch me? Dream on. The greedy one noticed something and went insane, charging towards him. He shouted, he's not a believer, he's an outsider. This shout attracted the attention of the demons around. They all turned to look. At this moment in the square, the man with black hair commented, everything is ready. He pulled out the knife and held it close to Baggy's face. An evil smile danced on his lips as he said, where should I start this show? Suddenly Baggy spotted something. He froze, wide-eyed, thinking, that, him, Shawai running like the wind. He cursed silently. That idiot was instructed to run away. Why did he come back? Then he noticed the demons behind him. Wait, those demons were brought by him. Lish Hawaii brought the demons to the crowd before him. He began to calculate. As soon as they smelled the human aura, they would go absolutely mad. He used the simulation with his mental energy. He dodged a blow from the monster. In an instant, people became targets for the demons. The dark-haired man saw this, and his face darkened as he approached. What is happening? Get them to calm down quickly. We can't delay the ceremony. Seizing the opportunity, Lixar unfolded the bag. He coldly reminded him, don't touch that bone spear, or our powers won't have a chance to break free. Understood? After being released, Ba confidently rotated his wrists. With an arrogant expression, he declared, the mission hasn't even started. There are many demons around, but they are no match for us. Balin and Jinlong were also free. Now the four gathered in one place. Baiji shoved his hands into his pockets and with that calm spoke. Perfect, it's time to gather everyone. He gave a sarcastic smile and looked at Alicia White. Why were you a rookie in the warehouse? Last time you seemed to have the gift of reading the enemy's movements. We didn't understand each other before, but now we will cooperate properly. Alicia White listened attentively, looking ahead. He responded, let me try then. Baz shouted. Guys, pay attention to the orders. Protect Licia. Come on, follow what he says. With a firm look, Balin and Jinlong shouted together. Got it. In the blink of an eye, a barrier of protection appeared around the people. It was all thanks to Licia's warning. The demons are attacking non-stop now. Mental energy level 10. People looked on in shock, their eyes wide open. Bide raised his hand, ready to act. Licia ordered loudly. Bide, it's your turn. With a swift movement, Bide waved. A series of ice spears shot forth, freezing a group of demons protected by the barrier. The ice projectiles blocked all attacks. Then Licia again asked Bide to use the sharp spears. But those demons, they are hiding in front and attacking from behind. Mental energy level 10. After that he turned to Genlong and said, brother, take care of your wounds soon. Understood? However, when looking back, his eyes opened in total disbelief. What was that? Mental energy level 10, initiating simulation. Suddenly Baji was holding a sharp spear, about to attack. But then a woman ran toward the demon shouting, no, don't kill my son. She placed herself between the attack and the victim, but she ended up being pierced by the spear. In pain she spat blood. Before fainting she uttered the phrase, I will protect him, whether alive or dead. This left Guy in shock, making his pupils constrict. He thought, a human took the worst for a demon? How do the audience accept this? After the attack, Lixiawei screamed and shuddered, realizing a demon was coming to attack him from behind. Lixia kept repeatedly warning Baji, pay attention, behind you. The father turned his head, started to sweat cold and thought, damn, I'm losing it here. Before he could do anything, the demon punched his leg. He screamed in pain, and then it was over. The simulation ended. The new reality was the scene of the woman protecting her son from the attack. Baji was wide-eyed, shocked. He realized that the humans cared for that demon. At that moment, Li Xiaowai warned him, Baji, stay alert. Thanks to this, Baji managed to dodge the demon's strike. Li Xiao was among the 3 members of the Hunters Association, loudly giving orders. Be careful, don't get carried away. Keep going. Visions of death flooded his mind, leaving his face pale. I have seen many types of simulations. Whatever it is, it's impossible to stop the audience from protecting the demons. Baji quickly understood the message and asserted, if we give up, it will be us. Appearing with narrowed eyes, Chihuahua faced the situation. Sweat dripped down his face. Upon concluding, we cannot avoid it. There must be some coordinates regarding G's commands. A new attack was ordered. Another attack coordinate. There was a demon hiding at 10 o'clock. Eliminate G. A human was also attacking, and so it continued until he felt exhausted. Everyone has someone to protect, some choices to make. I also have my decisions. The only option is to move forward, without wandering. There is no way back. The Audioans watching the carnage began to shout, "Stop! Stop now! Don't kill them!" A man trembled, firmly holding a knife in his hands. He murmured in prayer, "God, please help. As long as our family can live in this world, I am willing to offer my blood for it." With that, he made a cut on his own neck. "God, please help." Others quickly followed his example, crying in supplication, "Please save us. Don't let our loved ones die again." Lishi, Hawaii, and the others were paralyzed by the event. They clearly acted to save them. So why were they like this? Suddenly, Lishi was startled by something he saw. He looked up at the sky, where a gate was ajar. A fascinating red light was radiating. He panicked. "Damn! The sacrifice has begun." Pogi looked up, his face changing from green to pale. The gate is about to open. Cracks began to appear in the gate, letting a demonic aura seep out. Upon noticing this, Licia Y became completely terrified. He thought, "What the hell do I do now?" With that, Chia clenched his teeth and declared firmly, "It's over. The gate is almost open. We need to quickly finish off these demons or the gate will fully open." Poor Dia, who was fighting a demon, immediately disagreed. "No, those gates are pushed from the inside. If we eliminate all of them, the gate will close." He clenched his teeth with determination. He looked forward and explained further. "The auditors here, as a sacrifice to the evil god, used a powerful formation to open the gate. It's like forcing a pregnant woman to give birth prematurely. We need to destroy this formation and use external force to close the gate. Maintaining the protective barrier for so long has already drained quite a bit of our energy." He lowered his head, panting, and said, "After destroying the formation, how will we close the gate? It's 10,000 meters high. I don't have the strength to climb that high." As the demons rushed toward them in large numbers, he continued, "Moreover, the number of demons born in this village is already quite considerable. If the gate really opens, we won't be able to handle them." Suddenly, a rumble echoed from underground. Something was emerging, with a long black tail, amidst the dust. A demon with red eyes and yellow pupils began to appear. Upon seeing that grotesque creature, he screamed, "Here it comes again, a demon! Guys, the situation is crazy, kill it!" They shouted at the top of their lungs, as if it were easy. Ollie was left speechless. It looked like he had seen the devil. His eyes and mouth formed an O of surprise. He looked like a ghost. Then he hurried and said, "Wait, I think I know him. What's going on here? This is very strange. Seriously, do you know this demon?" The necklace around Lixuai's neck flew up, shining like crazy. He saw the demon approach and sniff his necklace. What he realized was Reza, the cat that had stayed under Chance's bed. "Reza, I didn't think you would turn into a demon. Wow, this is very unexpected." And the creature even said, "Are you here to find Aunt Antia?" Then, out of nowhere, Rezi bowed, throwing Lixuai on his back. He was obviously scared. Slowly, he began to understand the situation and asked, "Are you helping us with the bell?" Suddenly, he shot up to the sky. Ollie nearly had a panic attack. Meanwhile, Lixuai stood frozen with fear, his face pale as paper. The others below could only watch in shock. "Are you seeing this? A demon helping him? So what's the story with this kid, huh? What a strange mystery." Then, without wasting time, he shouted, "Let's get out of here." Then Bai Gi ordered Bing to keep reinforcing the barrier. "All right," and asked Zhenlong to lend a hand too. "Let's go all out, guys." Bai placed the ice sword on his shoulder and one hand in his pocket. The guy was focused. Calmly, he said, "I'll coordinate with him to destroy the arrangement that opened the gate." With that, the three joined forces and prepared for action. While they focused on destroying that arrangement, he secretly lowered and sent a reminder. "Ollie, hi, we can only help you up to this point." His eyes shone full of confidence. In Licia, the arrangement was destroyed, but the gate was still partially open. The tension was high, so whose job was it to close the gate? It was his. In the sky, Licia looked at the gate and shouted, "Such a big gate, how can we close it instantly?" And then it got complicated. He froze in fear, feeling a large hand with sharp claws poking at his head. Here comes trouble. A pair of enormous eyes appeared behind the gate. This is the apocalypse. Lee and Reese, in shock, were paralyzed and actionless. Then both tried to push the door with force. They were practically screaming. "It's over. It's about to come out. Use strength, Lee." Xuan thought, "I can't die here. I promised to take Antia to see the outside world." And suddenly, my friend, his necklace shone again. He saw a slender hand of a young girl at the door and almost had a stroke. Turning his head, he realized that the hand belonged to Aunt Antion in her adult form. My God. Aunt Antion didn't even look at him. She just said, "Brother, let's leave this place together." Licia felt an incredible relief. Okay, what powerful energy. The deeper the obsession, the stronger the demonic power. The three shouted loudly and joined forces to close the gate. The gate began to close before the astonished eyes of the monster. The final scene was the door slamming shut. Everyone was left on the ground in shock. Lixa couldn't believe they had managed to close it. Wow! He looked at the two streams of aura flying into the necklace and thought that Chang had returned to the necklace and Reese had also gone inside. What is happening? Suddenly he realized something was wrong and his face turned pale. What is this? He fell straight down, screaming desperately, "Save me!" After that, everything returned to normal. But where's the vibe in the square? The magic circle had been completely destroyed. The bodies of humans and demons were scattered everywhere. A macabre scene. Diego's loud voice echoed, "What is this?" As if he were in a horror series. Clearly a threat classification. But they said it was a classification mission. What's wrong with the association's intelligence? He cursed himself, irritated, as if he were splashing water on Fifi and the other two. They could only endure because there was nothing to be done. Furthermore, the reinforcements arrived too late. The battle was already over. He stuttered nervously. "I'm sorry, Captain Bay. It was a mistake of the association. The association will prepare a generous compensation for everyone." This must be a lie. Bag, still irritated, turned around. He sent the compensation all to Lisa. Seriously, we were lucky thanks to him. Then Bajie turned, looking in another direction, a bit awkwardly. "By the way, where is he? Where's the crazy guy?" The son said he went to the apartment building, saying he wanted to give instructions to the association staff. The guy even buried a family in a corpse. Strange. Look at the situation. When Gil heard this, he got furious again. He almost turned into Godzilla. He stomped hard, gesticulating like crazy. There are still so many important things to resolve here. The pressure was high and he only cared about the annoying administration. That night at the supermarket, two young boys were wide-eyed. "Do we make a noise? You took too much. Wow, what's happening?" They continued watching Lixar pushing a shopping cart overflowing with food. With everything there, a lollipop and a bag of chips floated beside him. He kind of ignored everything. Tia pretended not to know anything, thinking about the outing. The compensation for this mission still wasn't approved with a Type F grant. There wasn't enough money. What a mess. In front of the floating lollipop and bag of chips, he concluded, "I can only choose one of these two items." The two young boys saw this and got so scared they almost peed themselves. "Ah, there are crazy ghosts here. So scary," and they ran away. On the other side, Chia was talking to nothing. Doing what? Who knows? Then a delicate hand began to put the bag of chips back on the shelf. "So I choose this lollipop." "Really? Is he at that level?" Watching Tia in his child form holding haze, Lixo said, "Kids shouldn't eat sugar. That's all we need. That's going to cause cavities. Taking care of your health." Then he walked away with a ta-da, swaying side to side, talking happily. "Oh, that's right. Can you feel it? Look at the friendship flowing. Of course, I can retain all human senses and emotions. Wow." With that, he fell into contemplation. "So you are quite different from the others. It's really strange. I didn't expect this necklace to become a new home for you." That must explain why he can live inside the necklace. It seems that the necklace has many magical qualities, but the young man cannot identify as a ghost. He feels many things that humans ignore. This is heavy. In a few days, his life went through many changes, and he remembered, "Now I am a hunter." He wondered if the association's thirst could promote me this time. Rank B hunters and above can access classified documents. If my mother were also a hunter, maybe I could find her whereabouts somewhere. A TV turned on in some corner. The news displayed a huge incident that happened today in a village in the southern suburbs. A summoning portal for rankers opened. Unfortunately, the Hunters Association branch arrived in time and managed to prevent a disaster. According to investigations, it all started because the residents, obsessed, surrendered their souls and even their lives to deal with demons. The Hunters Association appealed to the people to unite against these monsters. And, to top it off, in the same village, a bizarre phenomenon occurred. Humans were creating and protecting monstrous ghosts. In fact, some of the residents were doing this with deceased relatives who turned into monsters. A way to ease their pain and longing, even if it put them on a collision course with the association. These were the news that aired on TV. In the president's office of the association, G cast a glance at the president and questioned if there was a serious error in the information from the urban village. "Is it true that they are making demons?" The president, resting his chin on his hand, thoughtfully commented. "From what we know, this has to do with the Society of Eternal Life. These guys are kind of crazy, with radical ideas and brutal methods. They represent a great danger both for the association and for the people. They want to evolve until they become demons to achieve immortality." Remembering the Society of Eternal Life, the president remarked, "Last time, you disrupted their plans. Next time, stay alert. They are probably already keeping an eye on you." Then he brought up the topic of Uli and Zowie. "So what do you think of him? That F-rank kid performed well this time, but his abilities are still very limited." G, who listened to all this, relaxed a bit and rested his chin on his hand. After thinking for a while, he commented, "I feel like he has some hidden talent, something that might be about predicting the future. But, from what I see, it's still nothing compared to true precognition. Based on his actions, I think he might be one." Then, he looked up with a sparkle in his eyes. He concluded he could be a rank B hunter. Strength, sixth sense. This is a perception skill that can sense danger in the air. The two started a conversation about it, discussing the situation. This ability is not that rare. The guys from the intelligence of the association and the headquarters also have some with that talent. What I have never seen is a user as good as him. Our branch should make an effort to keep him. He may not have combat experience, so it's good to be alert if the Eternal Life Society tries to attack him. Understood? I am here specifically to promote him to rank B hunter. Wake up to a beautiful morning at the city zoo. Look, there are already a lot of people there. In a corner there was Linshai, running and waving. Hi, sorry for keeping you waiting. Linshai was holding a bouquet of vibrant red roses. He quickly responded, blushing, as he passed the flowers to Linshar, who also couldn't help but blush. These are for you. Do you like them? Linshar, looking confused, replied, seriously? This doesn't seem right. Giving roses among friends is kind of strange, don't you think? Yikes! Linshai, already somewhat disappointed with the situation, sighed and thought giving flowers like that was quite silly. On top of receiving a message from Linri yesterday to go out, now there was a new one. I just got stuck in traffic. I'm arriving in 3 minutes. He became flustered. He focused on the task. Mental energy must not drop. In an instant he was at 40. In the blink of an eye, Linshai got out of the car and ran toward him, waving. Hi! He wasted no time and handed her an ice cream cone. Here's your ice cream. She took it with flushed cheeks and exclaimed, what a coincidence. I was thinking of buying a strawberry ice cream cone. We almost thought alike in the taxi, right? Then Chia changed the subject and said, used logic. Opened a new restaurant. I already reserved so we don't have to face the line. Lin Chia responded. Really, I haven't had breakfast yet. The timing is perfect. I wanted to invite you to try the place. Li Chi blushed more as she said, it's funny how we always have the same ideas. Shawai winked back. So we are soulmates. Thus, amidst laughter and conversations, it became evident that limited simulation is an essential skill when it comes to love. Walking through the zoo, Shawai spotted the staff dressed in animal costumes. Look, Li Chi, it's the theme of today's event. The two opened their eyes wide like children at the sight. The staff were all wearing fur. Aren't they hot in that? After some time, they went to the restaurant that had been mentioned. They ordered a table full of delights. Lee commented, so Lynx, our graduation is coming up. Any plans for after? Li Chi had a spark. Look, I already have hundreds of thousands of followers on my social media. After graduation, I want to be a streamer. Chia grabbed her phone and said, why not do a live stream right now? I'll record our zoo vlog. Maybe my fans will get to know you. Likul looked a bit surprised now. He quickly took his phone to start the live, praising Lin Chia. She nearly floated with happiness. Look at how many people are watching. Then, you're an online celebrity. Chia, radiant, replied, of course, I'm amazing. Surely you've thought about being a part-time streamer. Over 10,000 people are watching. Amidst laughter and happy exchanges, they continued the love as comments rolled in. Suddenly, one caught their attention. Is there some weird event going on at the zoo today? What's that over there? In the distance, someone wearing a rabbit mask was chewing on something strange. Looking closer, the image was chilling. It didn't seem like a mask, but rather something covered in blood. The creature smiled wickedly, devouring insatiably. This made Lixia White exclaim, shocked, Chia. Chia quickly lowered her head and turned, her eyes wide, questioning aloud, what is that? But what had been there moments ago was now empty, with no living soul. Lixir, seeing nothing, was intrigued. What's happening? Oh, nothing much. It must have just been in my head. After that, they stopped in front of 3 signage boards. They hesitated, looking at 3 gardens. So where are we going? That question lingered in the air. Linchar looked around and then said, herbivores, omnivores, carnivores. The zoo is a truly magical place. Poor Lixar was confused, not understanding. Magical? Not all the animals are the same. She gestured, analyzing the zoo. Look, a polar bear and Antarctic penguins together in one place. Savanna lions and jungle tigers. There are hybrid cubs, zebras, and a neighbor's leopard. And the monkeys right next to Evil Videm. This was her conclusion. Technically, these creatures would never intermingle outside. In fact, they would be mortal enemies in nature. But look, here they are close to each other. Isn't that pure magic? Lee agreed. That's true. And it's not just the animals. The visitors blend in too. Linchar took another look and said, this zoo is the busiest in the city. The ticket costs only 10 dong. Whether a humble family or tycoons, everyone shows up here. Some people in society may never cross paths, but in the zoo it happens multiple times, all sharing the same joy, regardless of social class. There, everyone is equal. Listening to Lixar, Lee was shocked. Wow, what you're saying makes so much sense. Lixar, we never thought about these things. You are brilliant. Nothing like the average students. Linchar smiled shyly and replied, oh no way, I was just talking normally. Suddenly, a colossal black gate appeared in the sky. Linchar didn't notice and pulled Lixar away. Alright, let's see the giraffes first. Wait, what is that? Everyone started looking up, watching that gate slowly open. She, confused, asked, a black gate? How did it open so quickly? Carefully, she examined the scene. Look at the variety of gates. It could be a demonic gate, one natural to several classes, or a gate summoned with dark magic. There's even an empty gate that leads to special transfers, and also gates for time reversal and contamination. Looking at the gate filled with a demonic aura above her, Linchar panicked. In a contamination gate, there are no demons, but an aura that can pollute the real world. If the world inside interacts with the real, it could even swallow reality. Lee became thoughtful. The living beings here are 3 types. 1. Living creatures. 2. Monsters. 3. Beings contaminated by the demonic aura. These are about to lose their sanity. Thinking about this, he widened his eyes, surprised. Contamination by demonic aura. So we wouldn't end up turning into something like a little chalk under the bed? As soon as the demonic aura spread, he grabbed Lixar's hand and took off. Guys, run! He kept shouting as the aura spread. If this continues, the entire zoo will be swallowed by the gate. While saying this, Lixar began to lose her senses. Her eyelids drooped. Then, we won't be able to get out. She and Lishawai could no longer stand. Their condition was confusing. It's over. I'm dizzy. All around, everyone had already fainted. Before he blacked out, Linshar realized that time had run out. He didn't know how long had passed, but the demonic aura had already engulfed the entire zoo. A voice echoed, "How much time has passed?" Ahead, everything was deserted. There was no one there. That voice belonged to Lixar, who had now taken the form of a rabbit. He was totally confused, not understanding anything that had happened. Everyone around him had also turned into rabbits, crying and searching for their families. Seeing a wooden door ahead, everyone ran towards it. "Run fast!" One person began to bang on the door, shouting, "Where are the people? Let us out!" The door started to open slowly, releasing a wave of murderous intent. The person in front froze in fear. No one dared to make a sound. Several guys with dog heads were there, coldly saying, "Stay still." They shoved the rabbits forcefully, blocking the exit. "You are not allowed to leave. It's very dangerous outside." Their strength was overwhelming. Even Lishawai fell into a similar situation. "Go back. Staying here is the best choice for you." He was pushed and rolled on the ground, feeling pain. "What is this? My physical abilities are fading. My speed and strength are also disappearing. Transforming into an animal must affect the attributes." He tried to ignore the pain and escape. "No, I can't stay here. Those dog-headed people are not hurting us. But I can't deal with them." Their mental energy was constantly reflected. He grabbed the pendant. "So I will summon Aunt Antian and Rice now." Aunt Antian in her adult form stepped forward with glowing eyes. The dog-headed creatures were terrified. "What is that, a demon?" Lishawai shouted. Aunt Antian said, "Don't harm them. They still have a bit of sanity." He climbed onto Rize's back, knowing it was the right time to order. "Now is the time. Attack!" As they advanced, he jumped to the ground. Aunt Antian and Rice returned to the pendant. He looked at his mental energy and sighed. "Summoning these demonic battles consumes a lot. I need to conserve." After, "Is there any way to reduce the cost of summoning monsters?" He looked at the gate, which seemed to grow larger and larger. The whole zoo was contaminated. Facing that scene, fear began to take over him. The gate in this world is not just a portal. It truly interacts with reality. And when that gate swallows the sky, goodbye, goodbye freedom. We will be trapped forever in this zoo. He looked around. A strange feeling began to wash over him. What should be a zoo now looked like a demonic place. Buckets of water? Not at all. Now it was a bucket of blood. A chill ran up his spine. The gate has a direct influence on reality. This space has turned into a true hellish distortion. He stood still, surrounded by warning signs, not knowing what to do. What choices do I have here? I can't prolong this. Either I close this gate or I run like there's no tomorrow. Where is Lishawai? He began to move, rubbing his chin while murmuring to himself how obsessed this gate is. And then, a snap. His eyes widened at what he saw in front of him. What is that? A bloody bulletin board with the title Rules of Zugame. It was impressive. 6 small sections below the title. First, rabbits make excellent pets. They are so weak and completely innocent. Second, dogs are faithful friends. They never hurt anyone. Third, goats are good food for humans. If you hear a goat talking, my friend, you can be sure you are severely infected. You must be hallucinating. Food doesn't talk. Fourth, elephants and humans live in harmony. Neither kills the other. If you are in danger, you can ask for help from them and they will be there. But expect nothing more. Fifth, lions are the true kings of this zoo. Each of you has a way to escape. But if you are severely infected, drink a sip of rabbit blood. The pure soul of the rabbit can lift your burden. Ah, and there were also some lines scrawled in blood. All of this was written by wolves and one of them is lying. Do not trust. This is a world that devours men. Run, run. Lixiao was paralyzed, staring at the bulletin board. The zoo is completely contaminated. Even the essence of the game has changed. That scrawled handwriting. So, everything there was written by wolves. One of them is pure lie. Do not trust. This is a world that devours men. Run, run. And it says there is a false rule. Which one is not true? Lixia Y tried to remember the details about the rabbit. A child being pushed. Rabbits are absurdly weak. I really feel that my physical abilities are a shame. Bisha White remembered those dog-headed people who held him. Dogs are good friends of humans, right? So, did those dog-headed beings not let me go to protect me? The world outside, far from the rabbit garden, must be a real danger. He looked at the notification. If you hear goats talking, it means contamination is severe. However, maybe I am still not fully contaminated. It seems my reason is still intact, unlike before. Lixia thought, questioning what to do, and cast a careful glance at one of the rules. If the lions have a way to escape, it means this rule is not false, right? At that moment, Lixia Y looked like he was about to crumble. But the truth is, I can't even beat a dog. The chance of even a Tiantian being able to take down a lion is practically zero. And calling a demonic Tiantian would drain my mental energy. Then he saw something that horrified him completely. Wait, what is happening? He stared at the notice board, confused. Why did my mental energy drop just now? Exiting the rabbit garden, I was at 120, and I only walked a little bit. What exactly is happening? It's going down. Perhaps the demonic aura of the real world is gradually eroding human reason. That mental energy could reach zero. Humans are doomed to become monsters. As I said, I was born with a high level of mental energy, but others may not have been so lucky. Some people might be dragging themselves with very little mental energy. Lichia's expression became even more serious now. He needs to use the simulation and the collar wisely. There may not be another chance to recover mental energy. Sleep might not offer as much energy gain as here. It's gone. Licia Hawaii began to calculate the possibilities. What if all the animals in the zoo are contaminated visitors? What determines what animal they transform into? Why am I a rabbit? At that moment he started to smell something. What is this? There's an aroma, but it's not pleasant at all. It even makes me want to vomit. It's exuding a rotten smell. A purple diffuse smoke was floating in that direction. Licia Hawaii took a look at the warning sign that reminded him of the goat garden mentioned in the game rules. He approached cautiously, realizing that according to the notice, goats are good food for humans. If you hear one of them talking, it means the infection is severe and you are hallucinating. Food doesn't talk, right? Licia's eyes widened. He was completely stunned. The goats were chewing compulsively and repeating, eat fast, eat fast. Each one had empty eyes, incessantly repeating, eat fast, eat fast. The goats kept feeding. I will starve. My wife will starve. My daughter will starve. Eat fast, eat fast. My parents are starving. I need to eat as much as I can to gain weight. At that moment, Lichiawei was in shock, watching the goats. Talking for real. Did only normal goats turn into food? Am I really severely infected and hallucinating? Or are these goats also infected humans? This rule is misleading. Suddenly, the part of the warning came to mind that said, severe infection requires drinking rabbit blood. But I am not a rabbit. Now the last thing he saw was his own blood gushing. Drinking my own blood is not working. It was supposed to purify me, right? Then, in the blink of an eye, he turned to look at the goats. Let's see if they are still screaming. Eat this now. He left Hawaii's trash totally lost because nothing changed. Then, he went there and thought better. Is there a false rule? Between 306. Look at that. Now he was fitting the rules together. Goat is real food for humans. If you hear them talking, it means you are very infected and delusional. Because let's face it, food doesn't talk. Now points 3 and 6 are similar. My deductions show that 3 is almost certainly the false one. He still had a lot of mental energy. It's a fact. The 7th point mentioned a false rule. But why didn't it say which one? The Hawaii fish was surprised by what it had just seen. Like, what is this? A foot approaches the goats that are there, heads buried in the grass eating. What is that? It's a wolf in a suit. He blocked the goat's path. Look at that big guy. Not bad, huh? Lee was spying somewhat sneakily. The wolfman was taking the goat to the factory. The rules say nothing about wolves. A very strange and perfumed smell was coming from there. He thought, I need to get in and take a look. The trash. So he took a careful look, seeing the goat being taken inside. He could hardly believe what was happening in front of him. A wolfman was hanging a piece of meat on a hook. This is a goat slaughter factory. Another wolfman was grilling a goat leg. Look at that, those goats are so fat, because they are being slaughtered. And there was another one wrapping a goat leg, making Lee remember. No, a memory snapped. He recalled the last line of the game rules. Lixawa was secretly listening to their entire conversation. That one is fat. It can be cut. 7 didn't say which rule was false, but it was clear. Lixia gathered everything he saw. Now this is a cannibal world. Rule number 3 is indeed false. He dropped this bomb. The goats are actually humans. The realization hit him and he was shocked. It's true. The mental statuses of the visitors here are very distorted. They are getting infected much faster than him. They have completely lost their sanity. They are going crazy. Everyone here is highly infected. Sweat was dripping down Lishawai's forehead. They are losing their minds. Are they really eating people? And then, in the midst of this tension, a shadow appeared behind him. While watching disguised, a werewolf emerged, completely catching Lishawai by surprise. A rabbit was secretly running to a place it shouldn't be. Lishawai trembled with the werewolf so close. And now what do I do? Under the pressure of the werewolf, Lishawai turned around and ran away. Run! The werewolf was all relaxed, like, want to give me your foot. He then stomped on the ground, jumping towards Lishawai, who was trying to escape. In an instant, he disappeared and appeared in front of Lishawai. What a shock! The werewolf grabbed Lishawai by the neck. He tightened his grip, lifting Lishawai into the air. It's rare to see such a bold rabbit. The wolf pack needs a strong assistant. Wolves are much more powerful than dogs. Then, the werewolf made a proposal to Lishawai. Look, you have 2 options. Either you let us eat you, or you become one of us. Officer White tried to respond. Wait, what is this about becoming one of you? Impossible. I can't be devoured. I need to fight. The rabbit man shouted, start the simulation. The simulation showed Lishawai being murdered by the werewolf, who then slowly savored his flesh. Help, so weak. Still trying to resist, even a little rabbit like him can be tasty. The taste isn't that bad. The taste is even okay. The simulation ended. After seeing the future, Lishawai wasted no time and shot back. Don't kill me. I choose to become one of you. I can't fight. Running away is not an option. I can't keep wasting my mental energy. The werewolf then threw Lishawai to the ground. Anyway, the mental energy here disappears faster than one can recover it. In the blink of an eye, he lost 10 points. The werewolf smiled with a sinister arrogance. He seemed ambitious and cunning. Congratulations, little rabbit. You're about to become a shadow. The mother figure threw a head of a figure on the ground. Put that on and you can level up several times. When Lishuai laid his eyes on the figure's head, he felt disgust. But, to avoid risking his life, he let it go and followed the figure. Let's go. Wolfman pointed to the goat meat. Welcome to the zoo management level. Wolfman began giving instructions to Lishuai. To become a real wolf, you must first learn to eat goat without the skin. Lishuai was completely taken aback. If I'm not losing my mind, then these creatures, like me, are humans who have been transformed. They are killing people. Then Wolf moved Lishuai forward. To become an excellent wolf, you need to learn to take care of the goats first. Once he saw the goat meat, vomiting felt like the only desire he had. Thinking those goats were humans, he wanted to run away. But he quickly gave up after noticing the number of wolves around. With no options, the goat skewers were being grilled. Wolfman grabbed a skewer, drooling with desire. Look how plump our goats are. After they are grilled, they are delicious. The smell wasn't the best. A strong fragrance filled his nose. What the hell is this, man? You made it this far and didn't leave a like? Are you kidding me? Stick around now to show some support. This smell is definitely the same as before. But seriously, I don't feel like vomiting. In fact, it smells so good that it makes my mouth water. It must be because of the transformation into a wolf. Could it be? He patted his stomach. What a joke. As soon as that hit, hunger appeared suddenly. The goat legs were being transported. What a thing, huh? The goats are taking over around here. Wolfman was putting them in a box. And what a mess this has turned into. He said, look, we can't eat all of this. What's left over we will pack up and save for some special guests. Got it? With so many people transforming into goats, this is getting strange. At the zoo, everyone is at this party. The mental energies are draining just from thinking about goat meat. This completely changes how the animals see things, doesn't it? After checking, they found nothing wrong. To become a great connoisseur, you have to learn to enjoy the taste of goat. Finally, all of this appears at dinner, where everyone loves to savor the goats. The werewolf says everyone is enjoying the meat. Impressive. The chimpanzee is then devouring everything. The meat tastes much richer than grass. Who would have thought? Look at all this goat meat around. Today, most of the zoo visitors have turned into goats. What a twist. The werewolf approached and gave a piece of meat to Lixian, who was clearly very hungry. You're hungry, aren't you? He said. Just thinking that this goat meat is human meat is quite repulsive, isn't it? But hunger is strong. The aroma of the meat is truly tempting. He tried to offer a piece of meat to Lixia. Go on, try it. The first bites are strange, but then you adapt and love it. But Lixia held back, pushing the meat away. Thanks, but I don't want to eat right now. And I don't want to work in that factory either. What a drag. Hearing this, the werewolf chewed on a piece of meat. Alright, then you'll be in charge of the goat garden. You can take care of it. Since normal wolves are relaxed and well-fed, they won't want to take such a simple job. Licia still lost focus on his own thoughts, all confused. Everyone here was a zoo visitor, but why were they turning into different animals? What logic is this? The werewolf soon handed Licia a notebook. This is the management guide. Apparently it was the manual. Easy peasy. You just follow the instructions, simple as that. Licia kept flipping it in his hands, not understanding. If you don't follow, this world won't give you a chance. You'll be in trouble quickly. What pressure? The management manual. Ollie looked on curiously. Let me see that. He read the material. He quickly skimmed through the 7 topics of the manual. After a quick flip through, he closed it and decided to leave. Alright, I'll take care of the goat garden. Seriously, aren't you going to try this goat delight? One bite and you won't want to stop. No, I'm not going to eat that. Is that clear? But the wolf insisted. Sooner or later you will eat. Licia then ran away, fleeing from temptation. I understand, but no. The determination in Licia's eyes said it all. He understood the logic behind the visitors' transformation into animals. Even though they seemed to have changed in appearance, their ways of thinking and communicating had not changed. He could hear that the rabbits in the garden were all children or students just like him. Dogs are loyal friends to humans. They are absolutely right. They would never harm anyone. They want to protect everyone like true defenders of society. Police officers, teachers, doctors, and lawyers. That is the truth. They have a professional ethics that shines. It doesn't matter if the one coming is rich or poor, good or bad. They treat everyone the same when help is needed. Lee remembered the goats. Goats are the most common population. The strategies are clear, especially among workers who will sacrifice their strength to meet their family's needs. They cannot eat too little or else it gets rough, and not too much, or they end up in danger. The carnivores, of course, who feed the goats and so on. Lixia remembered when the wolves hunted. They are all in the same boat with the wolves, he thought. He pieced everything together and realized. The wolves refer to the middle class and the petite bourgeoisie. Thinking of these things, Lixia recalled when he was with Lixia. It was magical. All the animals we have always interacted with, indeed. And this sparked a lot of interest in him. In this world, we would never see animals interacting or being mortal rivals. How bizarre. But here, everyone is so close, crazy enough to mix together. Isn't that incredible? While Lixown got lost in his thoughts, Lixia continued. In fact, not just the animals, but the zoo visitors as well. There are people who in real life would never meet, but in the zoo they cross paths non-stop. It doesn't matter the social class. In front of the animals, everyone becomes equal. All because of Lincia's words. The question that always intrigued me was this. Why are Lincia and I being students in different situations? I finally thought about it. Lincia may have a secret identity, and that identity is surely more important to her than being a student. She must be somewhere in the zoo transforming into some beast that is not a rabbit. Xiaomi quickly approached the goat pen. At that moment, he was more and more convinced that he was not having an identity crisis. At first glance, this zoo seemed completely crazy, but I hid a logic behind everything. You can feel it. He touched the cage door. Had those animals really been human? What a revelation. He had to rescue them. He couldn't allow the wolves to keep devouring them. Chia opened the door and shouted, "Run fast! If you stay here, you will be devoured." Even with his desperate screams, the herd of goats remained incredibly calm. "Escape! Escape!" Many goats had already been eaten. "If you don't leave, the wolves will catch you too." They turned and stared at Chia for a long time. Then they went back to grazing, murmuring, "Stop! You will starve. If you leave, you will be hungry, and that could result in death. Die!" Seeing the goat's reaction, Chia was astonished. "Why doesn't anyone believe me? They're all just standing there. What's going on? Hold on, what's happening? Look, a rabbit. Wow, it turned into..." And all this innocence can't be disguised. The crowd with their sinister faces started to mock. "Let the goats out." But where would they go if they left that place? The zoo is just this enclosed area where the grass is greener. Chia immediately felt that cold in his stomach. This is not good. The wolves are nearby. Screams echoed and the birds scattered. "Stop!" The people were on Chia's tail, desperate as he tried to escape. Looking back, he saw the wolves very close. "There's no way to save the goats now. I need to run." Aunt Ruai crossed paths with a dark figure watching silently. The mysterious person was smiling, as if enjoying the show. The wolves advanced quickly. "Where are you going?" By this point, they had already run towards a herd of elephants. There was no way to miss the path. The leader soon asked, "Did you see a wolf pass by here?" "No," said the elephants. After that, the wolves changed direction to search. "I drove them away," said the Sharpei, thanking the elephants. The herbivore zone was overrun by wolves. "Can you point me to the omnivore zone?" One of the elephants pointed with its trunk. "The omnivore zone is over there, but be careful. You have evolved, and they may avoid you if you get there. The rules for visitors are correct, except for the third point. I am human, with my mind and humanity intact. The elephants can cover me, but they will not participate in a fight against the wolves." Xiaomi carefully weighed each step. The elephants were almost entirely animalistic. There was so little humanity left in them. They are the most infected beings I have ever seen. The third point of the VF management manual makes sense. Elephants have no ambition. Their territory is separate from ours. If the wolves offer a bit of grass, they can maintain peace with the elephants. Ant turned and asked, "Why is the fence here so low? You are so tall. Why don't you jump out?" He continued, "Besides, you must be strong enough to face the wolves, right? Why don't you go and get the grass from the goat pen that the wolves take care of? I heard the grass is the best." The elephants answered each of Ant's questions. "I bet you didn't know that elephants are the only mammals that cannot jump. And why would we jump? We have enough grass here to avoid hunger. It's not worth competing with carnivores." Other elephants ended up intervening. "Sure, we are getting old. They say the elephant's enclosure used to be a goat pen. And honestly, we don't care about what happens outside." Then suddenly, a growl caught Chia's attention. "What is that noise? It's coming from the omnivores area." Chia ran to the side to see what was happening. "Thanks everyone, I need to check this out." The elephants began to whisper among themselves. "Those monkeys are causing trouble again. How many times has it been? We're already into the 800, right? That little wolf is quite adorable, innocent like a rabbit." And Chia began to piece together the thoughts. The elephants are old retirees. They have resources and connections in their age, but where is their claw? There is no way to make them help save the goats. He remembered his friend. But after all, Chia could not have turned into an elephant. What creature would she have transformed into? It seemed like she had another identity as a streamer. What creature would she have become? What kind of animal would it be? Chia was in shock at what he saw. A legion of monkeys organizing, following the commander's orders. "Attention, start counting." One of the monkeys shouted, who was giving orders. "Now we, the omnivores, need to unite to take down the wolves and free the goats." Chia raised his hand, ready to join. "This is wonderful. The monkeys are on the same vibe. This could save the goats." He wanted to contribute and enlist, but before he could say more, a hand covered his mouth. The commander of the monkeys realized who was speaking. No one responded. No one must have heard wrong. Soon the commander gave the order to his legion. "Go, brothers. Head to the goat pen and attack." The monkeys charged toward the pen. Meanwhile, Dao had his hand over Chia's mouth, explaining, "Look, you are a carnivore. They are omnivores. Even if you want to fit in, they won't accept you, even if the goals are the same." Chia asked right away, "And you, cat? Aren't you also an omnivore?" "Hey, don't call me a cat. I'm different from these monkeys. I'm a person. My name is Garu." "Garu, seriously?" He added, "Look, I still keep my human sanity. Sure, I'm a hunter. I have a spiritual power greater than most. That's why I still have plenty of energy left. You should be like that too, right? I don't want you to get hurt. That's why I held you." Tia was completely speechless. "Die? Are you saying the legion of monkeys won't make it?" Wow, right off the bat. Garu stood up. "This kind of bottom-up resistance makes no sense at all. Dude, let's go. I need to take you to the goat pen now. What's happening in front of you?" The chaotic scene left Chia in shock. How could so many monkeys die all at once? It was too fast, and to make it worse, none were left. Garu let out a mocking laugh. "They were sold. Look, the leader of the monkeys is now being controlled by a goat leg. What great cooperation. Let's do our part." Soon Voof, the guy sitting on the bodies of the monkeys, said, "From now on you can eat meat every day at our restaurant at Goat Farm." Garu paid attention to the scene and then asked Chia, "Did you read Voof's management manual? Don't you see there's nothing about a threatening force like the Legion of Monkeys in the manual?" Meanwhile, the leader of the monkeys was biting into the leg of the goat. "Delicious," he exclaimed. "The meat is indeed 1,000 times better than grass." With that, he grew in a way that left Chia terrified. What's going on here? After devouring the goat leg, the leader turned into a chimpanzee. And what if I told you that originally, there wasn't even a monkey enclosure in the dreamlike area of the zoo? Chia finally understood everything. He remembered item number 4 in the management manual. Damn, I should have paid more attention from the start. Xiaomi made a connection with a chimpanzee he saw in the cafeteria. It was the leader of each transformation cycle of the monkeys. He recalled the leader's words. The Legion of Monkeys was doomed from the beginning. Chia couldn't believe it. Knowing the truth, it still didn't seem like there was much to do for their future. Then Voof picked up the chimpanzee and called out, "Come here. There's a lot of goat meat in the cafeteria. Welcome to the world of carnivores." A delicious smell invaded Chia's nostrils. It was the aroma of goat meat. He held his stomach as it growled. This wasn't good. The hunger was only increasing and he could hardly contain himself from running and devouring everything. If this kept up, soon he wouldn't just be eating goats but people too. Gao interrupted. "Chia, I know you want to do something great and save everyone here, but relying on these monkeys for such resistance won't work. There's only one path to follow." Chia asked, "What path is that?" Gao proposed an idea. "Become the one who sets the rules." "A lion." Gao flashed a smug smile. "Once you become a lion, you can order the liberation of everyone in the zoo or even become the king of this place. But to become a lion, you need to gradually follow the carnivore's path. Eat little by little, and yes, prepare to eat a lot of people." "Why would I have to choose that? To save more people, I'd have to devour some people?" Chia felt his saliva dripping at that thought. With no other choice, his next step would be to become a lion. But wait, I can hardly control my desire to devour people right now. He clenched his teeth to hold it back. This is not good at all. It feels like an animal instinct trying to take over me. I can't hold back anymore. The animal hunger was rising uncontrollably within Xiaomi. Damn, he decided to bite his own arm hard, making blood spurt everywhere. Gao was shocked by the scene. "Boy, what are you doing? Eating meat?" Blood was gushing from Chia's arm. At that moment, he realized he could control the animal instinct that dominated him. "I am no longer a rabbit. My flesh and blood will only fill my belly. I won't be able to recharge my spiritual power. In fact, my spiritual power level is only between 90 and 160. Chia held her injured arm and decided to move on. "Let's go. Let's head to the carnivore zone." "You're right. Becoming a lion is the only way to save this place." So Gao and Chia walked together, exchanging ideas throughout the journey. "Boy, you are completely different from that hesitation at the beginning. After facing monsters for a while, I should have understood Garo's words much earlier. No matter how strong someone is, there will always be sacrifices to achieve results. Getting what you want never comes from hesitating. It comes from cruelty and determination." The two kept talking and finally arrived at a bustling city, the carnivore zone. The atmosphere was filled with tall buildings, crowded streets, and cars passing by. Xiaomi and Gao were frozen, with expressions of total confusion. Did we come to the wrong place? Why is the carnivore zone so quiet? I don't know either. I've never been here before. While the two were confused, someone approached and said, "Do you two want to join the carnivore zone? Taking the exam is the fastest way to become carnivores." It was Yang. Yang continued, "Of course, you can also choose to enter the carnivore zone directly, but I will warn you, this can be quite cruel. You may be devoured by other carnivores at any moment." Chia wasn't quite sure about everything, so she asked, "Passing the exam turns someone into a lion? If you do well enough on the exam, you can become any carnivore you want. The exam is a shortcut to adapt in this world." Chia didn't think twice and agreed. "All right, we want to take the exam. Just like in the real world, tests are often the only way for those at the bottom to rise quickly." Yong quickly took Chia and Gao on a high-speed train. Gao looked out the window, ecstatic. This place is completely different from the herbivore zones. The highest-class creatures were already enjoying a life of luxury. This was far beyond this world. This place even had a companion robot store. They study the universe, inertia, acceleration, movement, and vectors. They were part of their studies. Gao was shocked to realize that this place surpassed all his expectations. Meanwhile, the sheep have no patch of grass to eat. The carnivores are already venturing into research on how to fly. No, essentially they are not much different. The truth is that few of us still maintain sobriety as predators. Yes, and a good number of carnivores have already been seduced by the rules of this strange little world. They conform so much to their identity that they forget where they came from. They forget they are real humans. Soon Yang hurried Xiao Ha and Garu to a very busy building. "This will be the stage of your exam. 3 days and 3 nights with 3 tests ahead." Upon entering, the other participants were already there, anxious. Yang began to speak. "Your team has 10 members. After 3 days, whoever comes in first becomes a lion. The second becomes a leopard. The third, an hare. And whoever comes in fourth chooses any animal except the top 3. From 5th place on, it is considered a failure. The choice is yours, stay or leave." This caused a stir. The rooster, excited, slammed the table and exclaimed, "Wow, We finally got out of the herb zone. Now we have to face an exam to become carnivores. What a drag, I didn't even prepare myself. The rabbit, terrified, leaned against another and begged, "Let me go now. I'm not hungry." The voice of the old dog sounded firm. "Guys, calm down. We are here to take the exam. We need to pay attention to the rules. Do you know what they are? What a thing, right? Who knows? Maybe the rules are that there are no rules. No one seems to remember that as we age, we learn. I myself am elderly now and I don't feel like battling." Gao watched everything closely. Then he poked the ground and said, "Hey buddy, don't be fooled. We're all in the same boat. My fear is that leopard. He is already a powerful predator, almost a lion. The reward for second place is a leopard. He may have done this before, trying to improve his score. Is he aware of what the test will be this time?" The leopard, with all his arrogance, was settling into his chair. He raised a glass of wine, exuding an aura of superiority that even made the wild boar next to him tremble. "Tests? What a group of idiots." Gao turned to look at Chia. "I think you got it right. If this leopard is repeating the test, it might be a good idea to take a peek at his answers. This could guarantee us a good score too." "You're clever, kid." Sean made a thoughtful expression, his eyes filled with analysis. "Just being smart isn't enough in the fight against monsters. We need boldness and impartiality to conquer. Sacrifice is necessary." Yang pointed to a box on the table. "Let's talk about the first test, called luck. Luck is fundamental, but guess what? It's easy to be forgotten in everyday life. Now each of you will pull a card from this box. The numbers 1 to 10 will determine each one's placement." Looking at the box and the rules, everyone shouted, "It's very easy. It's just a game of luck. Where's the justice in that?" Chia, with a suspicious look, commented, "Justice in the world we live in? What is that?" He began to gather his deductive skills, sensing something was off with his spiritual power at 88 hundredths. The luck card was now in everyone's hands. But before they revealed, he said, "You can swap cards with each other." The arrogant leopard held onto his card and shot back. I don't even know what our cards are." And so he flipped his. "What's the swap? Flip it already." The rooster looked at the number and lost color. "Damn." The ancient fox was nervous, rubbing his card, and the rabbit, all happy, exclaimed, "I'm so lucky. I'm number 1. I'm about to turn into a lion." At that moment, Geralt whispered to Chia, "What's your number?" "I'm 6, and the exam results depend on very simple things." Suddenly, Xiaohai's eyes widened. Something was off. The rules mentioned that you could swap cards only before the reveal. They said nothing about swapping after flipping them. Looking at the radiant rabbit, Chia couldn't help but feel apprehension. This isn't a luck test. It's a place full of cruel individuals. Here it's a fight. And who's the strongest among us? Before he could do anything, the leopard attacked the rabbit with impressive speed. With his sharp claws, he grabbed her by the head. His voice, slicing like a sword, echoed, "Now I am number 1." A horrifying scream echoed. A jet of blood spread across the floor. The leopard held the rabbit by the neck with one hand. He was actively lifting the number 1 card. His tone was full of contempt and challenge. "Who will dare to contest? Come and try." The silence was absolute. Everyone was in shock over what had just happened. Shay's deductions became clear. He understood the true nature of the situation. Back in the present, he realized that Rui's card was still on the table. Yang's voice sounded again. "Now everyone has a card. Before revealing them, you can choose to swap freely." Thus, everything happened as Xiao had concluded. The leopard grumbled, "We don't even know what our cards are." He didn't delve into the subject and turned his card, revealing a 6. "What's the swap?" "Just turn it over," the boy whispered to Chia. "Boy, what are you thinking?" Tia looked serious and replied, "I think this leopard must be tired of being just a level 2 animal. Now he must have come back here to try again." Gao confirmed. "Right, don't get scared. Turn your card." Chia was immersed in a psychological game. He displayed his claws to make the rabbit girl apprehensive. "Hey little rabbit, show me your card." The girl froze in fear. With a trembling voice, she quickly swapped cards with Chown. "Here it is, Lord Volfo," she exclaimed, visibly relieved. "Now I am number 1. What luck." Yes, indeed, it is the number 1 card. To tell the truth, this card is the only one that guarantees safety. And she, so naive and kind, shouldn't be in this dark world. Or then, Chia raised his card, firm and determined. He spoke with a cold air. "I am number 1. At that very moment, Volfo's figure lunged forward. His red eyes overflowed with threats. "You may be clever, but I'm sorry to say, fate is not on your side. This is reality." Sean Ai's eyes became sharp as blades. "Young one, sometimes one is sacrificed to save many. It is necessary." Shiman had a heavy presence, almost palpable. A true aura of death. In the blink of an eye, an image of a fierce wolf appeared. Like lightning, the evil leopard had a chance to react. Only the stained blood remained. No one understood how it all happened. The others watched in shock, incredulous. Is he really going to kill that boy in this dark forest? The powerful devour the weak. The rooster was stunned. How did he manage that? With card number 1 still in hand, Chia stood tall, determined to make it clear that he still had strength. "The number 1 is with me. Come and test it." His eyes, stained with red, emitted an intense threat. "For the next 3 days, no games with me." The threat was clear. "That's why I had to take a life. I never imagined this would be my first time." Yang intervened, directing everyone to the resting area. "Guys, it's getting late. Go back to your rooms and rest. Room 10 is for the rabbit, with an abundance of food." 8 is for the dog, 7 is for the pig, 6 is for the garu. Obviously Chia is in the special room number 1. 5 is for the fox, 4 is for the hen, 3 is for the hippopotamus, 2 is for the rat. Tomorrow we have the second round of the exam. Upon entering room 1, Chia assessed the space. It's quite acceptable. A good chance to relax tonight. There was a plate of food exuding a tempting aroma. I hope my spiritual power recovers while I sleep, because with every moment here it loses strength. If not, when I wake up, my power will only fade more. Chia approached the plate, smelling the meat that was simply irresistible. What meat could this be? But here I am forced to think it might be human flesh. His stomach growled. I'm ravenous, and only a day has passed. Who knows how many more will come? At any moment I might find myself in a critical situation. So Chia decided to open the plate to see what was hidden. But not today. He frowned as he looked into the plate. What was this about the meat? Mysterious words were hidden within. Curious, he pushed the pieces to see what they said. First, during the game the judge's order must be respected. Do not break the rules of this space or you will suffer the consequences. Second, after tonight, the occupants of the rooms, odds will have their strengths amplified. Meanwhile, even rooms will suffer reductions. At dawn the numbers will be reset. Finally, kill the guest with a certain number to take their place. Do not devour all the meat from the plate. This is the meat of a guest eliminated in the previous round. Do not eat it, run away. This is a world that feeds on humans. Chia was not surprised. He was already accustomed to the rules here. It was to be expected. The handwriting seemed familiar. It was not different from the writing he saw in the clue of the game rules. From the beginning, who could be behind this? Decidedly, Chia opened the door. If these are the rules, then outside the exam murders are inevitable. He peeked outside and decided to move forward. 2 rounds are still to come. The rankings will surely change. Now 1 less competitor means 1 less threat. In the sequence of events he thought while passing through corridors. Reflecting, even if the rabbit is number 1, that doesn't mean she is safe. Any creature here could eliminate her effortlessly. Chia headed to room 10 where the rabbit was. I need to take care of her. Curious glances followed his every move. Let everyone see me enter her room. That way they will give up on eliminating her. With that thought he knocked on the door. It's not that I am a good person, he recalled in his battles of wits with the stranger. Kindness had been abandoned. The rabbit quickly opened the door, bumping Chia's nose. Is it you, Mr. Volfo? Did you come to play with me? Chia held his injured nose playfully. It's nothing. I came to protect you so you can spend the night safely. As soon as the rabbit heard this, her eyes sparkled with joy. You truly are a wonderful person. Please come in. Auntie then pointed to the plate of meat on the table. You don't eat meat, do you? Didn't you read the warnings about the dish? I'm a rabbit, I don't eat meat. It's good that you cared to protect me. I need to reward you. Auntie wiped the blood from her nose with a handkerchief. Actually, I have a request. That's why I came here at night. I know exactly what you need. Chia turned his face. At that moment the rabbit simply decided to undress and displayed her stunning body, without the slightest modesty. Man, that was so absurd that he almost choked on his own saliva. Apparently that was definitely not the fruit the boy liked. Come here, I'll keep you company tonight. But in pure panic, Chia jumped back. He covered his eyes and nearly collapsed from so much fear. What are you doing? I don't know anything else. Then Chia threw the clothes to the rabbit. Come on, quick, put the clothes back. That's not what I meant. Then Chia asked how old the rabbit was. At first she dodged the question, but then she had to be honest. How old are you now? Tell the truth. If you don't, I'll leave. What was that? Chia threw a pillow on the floor. Fine, sleep there. I'll sleep on the floor. I have a little question for you tomorrow when you wake up. Okay, I'm listening. Then he plunged into a deep sleep. He smiled, mumbling a bit. The rabbit was still awake, just watching him sleep peacefully. Outside, Lord Wolf heard screams of despair. Help, run, it's terrifying out there. They are killing each other. If it weren't for Lord Wolf, I would have been done for. The rabbit made a fist with determination. Tomorrow, I will do everything I can to thank Lord. Golfo Xiaoyi frowned as the light of day began to dawn. He awoke slowly. It's morning. His spiritual power was at 53. Compared to the night before, it didn't increase or decrease. This proved that the recovery of power during sleep was equal to the depletion rate in this crazy world. The rabbit woke up before Chia and waited. Good morning, Mr. Wolf. If this keeps up, by the time I wake, my spiritual power will be completely drained. When that happens, I'll just be another lost one. Chihuahua looked at the rabbit next to him. Forget that I was human before. I'm totally diving into this bizarre world. Now we need a deal. Give me your blood. I need rabbit blood to keep my sanity. The rabbit then extended her hand, full of scars. No problem, sir. You can bite my arm. But what are those scars on your wrist? Oh, I forgot. I think they've been here since I got my memories back. I tried to take my own life several times when I was human. As he bit the rabbit's hand, Chia asked a question. What is your name? I don't have a name. Everyone calls me Whore. Chihuahua then left with the rabbit. He was full of spiritual power. Now a wave of energy began to flow within him. The spiritual power is being replenished. As soon as I get out, I will give you a new name. Cool, Brother Wolf? Everyone was already outside. Hey everyone, good morning Yang Yang. So I brought some news. Good news, 2 more competitors bit the dust last night. Now only 7 competitors remain. The fox was licking her bloody hands. She had come from room number 4. Look, she had bitten the chicken to death. Good news, the pig came out of room number 2. He bit the rat to death. At that moment, goodbye. Things got serious. Get ready. The stakes are high. The bloodbath starts now. Yang Yang led everyone to another room. Now we are going to the second round, a game called Open Conflict. Here the external competition is everything. He brought a box and began to explain the rules. There will be 3 rounds. Inside we have 7 cards with numbers 1 to 6 and 1 king card. Whoever draws the king card can give orders freely. After that, the card is revealed. Game rules. During the game, it is not allowed to forcibly exchange cards. The king's command is positive. Chia's eyes sparkled. Open conflict. This means that the final round is not just a hidden battle. And remember, this is not the king's match. This time the kings will not count. Chia began to think. There are 3 rounds in total. The first one starts now. No one should show their cards, only they can see. All numbers are secret. The cards stay on the table. Only the one who draws the king card can reveal. Someone raised the king card with all their strength. I drew the king card and I will give a mission. It was a pig with a crazed expression. All numbered cards will commit suicide. This shocked everyone. What? Tia remained quiet and calm. The judge, a snake, said, you need to specify the exact numbers to give a command. The fox raised 2 middle fingers towards the pig, irritated. Old pig, what about the alliance we made yesterday? Don't you know that in the 3rd match 2 people might have to join forces? Otherwise you won't pass the test tomorrow. The pig just smiled. He sniffed and said, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will commit suicide. No, why? Because I'm in a good mood and I find it amusing to see you all uncomfortable. I want to end you and blame bad luck. Chia was shocked when his hands started to act on their own. What? My hands won't obey anymore? Then, he had to follow the rules of the game and obey the pig's orders, starting to suffocate. He tried to call for Andia and the king, but it was in vain. Man, this zoo is crazy? Seriously, everything here is controlled by rules. In this building, the referee's orders are the law. Got it? The dog, the sheep, and the fox, poor things. They were living the same drama. The game rules say that during the game, no forcing card exchanges. What the king decides is gold, and then you can't interrupt the suicide. Damn, I'm dead. Mental points, 10. The deduction is over, brother. I can't let that pig speak, and for sure I can't let him be the king. When the referee demands, Snake launched the first round. It starts. Chiawai slapped the table. His eyes were filled with hatred. Dude, the rules only say you can't use force to force exchanges, but they say nothing about directly killing an opponent. Noticing Chia like this, the pig was shocked. He quickly stood up, stammering, You, what are you doing? Chia didn't care at all. He jumped to strangle the thing. The pig was lost, didn't even know what was going on. Chia, man, smiled threateningly, for no apparent reason. He was feeling good. Seeing the little pig trembling made him want to end his life. Blame your luck, my friend. After a few minutes, Chia dispatched the pig really with the strength of a wolf. Easy peasy. Good thing the pig couldn't scream. Chia also noticed that the audience was enjoying it and thus he became the villain. This boy is insane, a murderer. Referee Snake laughed loudly but didn't forget to warn everyone. Very good. You can eliminate all opponents but then you need to draw the king card. But you won't be able to command a number, because no one can draw a number. Also, if you can't command, you're stuck in this building, okay? Ant, with coldness in her gaze, retorted, Of course, I won't kill without a reason, but I'm not here to give you explanations. I just want to warn you. It doesn't matter who picks the king's card. No one can give a negative order. Because otherwise, and until I die, as soon as the game ends, I will finish you off. The referee is collecting. He was having fun today. It really is an interesting game. I will add a new rule to intensify the competition. The king's command must indicate a specific number. If no one draws that number, the king is in trouble, the referee explained. This means that the pig is out of the game. There should be at least 1 card remaining among the numbers 1 to 6. If the king's command lands on one of those blank numbers, the king will also be in trouble. And by the way, don't forget, it's prohibited to reveal the cards during the game. So let's go, continue the first round. You can draw your cards now. Got it? The referee can invent any rule at any moment. How crazy. It seems that in this building, the referee is like a god. The rabbit raised her card, all excited. Stop, the king's card. I will think of a mission. I will listen to Brother Valte and give a positive order. But soon after, she seemed anxious and tense. I don't know which number hasn't come up, and if my command coincides with a blank number, I will get hurt. Chia quickly revealed her number. I am number 1. She said she couldn't show her card, but she didn't say anything about not being able to say her number. Alright, whether you trust me or not, it doesn't matter much. That girl is quite naive. I bet she won't want to harm me. Seeing this, the rabbit's eyes sparkled. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, choose number 1. Dancing and enjoying. Upon hearing her command, Chia's expression darkened. The fox and the cat were left speechless, but what was asked had been done and had to be fulfilled. Chia raised her hands, forming rabbit ears. He thought, what am I doing now? Chia began to dance and sing like a rabbit. The people down below started to talk loudly. Is this serious or am I about to die? In the second round, Garu picked the king's card. She smiled, full of confidence. The others began to announce their numbers. Chia, number 1. Rabbit, number 2. Fox, number 5. Sheep, number 4. Dog, number 6. Shao reflected. Garu would probably command number 2. After all, everyone notices how that little girl begs. But suddenly, Garu decided. Number 1, make a ghost face. Xiao was furious. He grabbed Garou by the clothes and asked, "Why did you choose me? I heard people say you are seen as a bad person, but I know you were quite lively and fair in the herbivore zone." Reluctantly, Xiao had to make a ghost face. And the result? No ghosts, only laughter. This is common among all. In the final round, Chia pulled the king card. "Come on, say your numbers. First I wanted to eliminate you, so let's avoid problems." Garou was the first to say her number. Number 1, rabbit. Number 2, dog. Number 3, fox. Number 4, sheep. Number 5, Chia, choosing number 2. Make a big jump. Garou and the rabbit are the ones worth trusting the most. Choosing a random number should be easy. The referee called out and announced loudly, "Unbelievable. King, you lost." Shia was stunned, in shock. What? What's going on? Why did this round go wrong? At that exact moment, the system also showed a notification. Final detection completed. Mental points, 10. Shia's mental points kept dropping. Shia frowned, thoughtful, asking many questions. Did I die? How did this happen? Which rule did I break? Look, it's a forced card exchange. It's not going to work. There will be trouble. And let me tell you, it's not quite what you're thinking. Let me explain. He punched the table with that furious look. I was deceived. The laughter changed. At that moment, his expression turned dark. He fixed the rabbit with a cold, penetrating gaze. It was evident he had been too good to her, trusting too much. Meanwhile, Ichir's mental points crumbled as if a black hole was sucking away his sanity. The spiritual power was being drained. This animal place was just corroding his mind. He wanted to find a way out, a way to reset his power, turning it into something irrational. Tia tried to calm down in an internal struggle. He took a deep breath and repeated to himself, "Maintain my sanity. Control your emotions. I cannot let my mind descend into the abyss." What did I not understand? He truly was number 2. When he finally stabilized, Chihuahua activated his deduction skill. With the king's card in hand, he shouted, "Number 6, crouch down and stand up again." The referee could only utter, "Useful boy, interesting." Looking at the haunted rabbit, he said, "Little girl, get out of here." Yes, the card in the little girl's hands was indeed number 6. The deduction came to an end. Chia was perplexed. After all, Ji was right. A person as naive as him was destined to never be truly strong. To become strong, one must give. He always believed he could help someone here or there, but he couldn't. It wasn't that he was hesitating. It was more like he wished she would speak. But with courage, the number 6 card slapped itself. The referee, that coiled snake, heard this and immediately said, "Ah, interesting boy." The little girl goes. The rabbit, tense, stammered, I kind of slapped my face. Now what? My hand isn't obeying me." The fox and the cat, in a state of surprise, began to praise, "How did you know the rabbit was lying? You are amazing, man." The dog, on the other hand, looked at the rabbit and commented, "The girl seems simple, but in reality she has a sinister side." The referee, the snake, then spoke loudly. "The exam rule is a basic principle of this place. If you do not hurt yourself, the rules will make you hurt." The second round of the exam is over too. All 6 competitors are still here. The rankings follow the numbers of the runes. Tomorrow is the final day. How about you all do well and have sweet dreams tonight? Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. Chialua used all his strength to break down the door. Now with fury, Chialua was like a hurricane. He shouted, "Do you want to kill me?" He raised his wolf hand with sharp claws. "What price will you pay?" At that moment, a voice echoed inside Li Shai's mind. She pleaded and manipulated her mental state. Yes, just like her. Her flesh and blood can help me for a while. Suddenly, her spiritual power increased. The rabbit cried out for help, desperate. "Help! Someone!" No one there cared about a rabbit being attacked. The X-Dye necklace stirred and her eyes turned extremely dark. Her mental points overflowed. Suddenly he awakened, releasing the desperately crying rabbit. He questioned himself, "What am I doing?" The rabbit pleaded, "Please don't kill me, she still has human essence." Yet he still wanted human flesh. The demonic aura of this world was eroding his sanity. How did we come to this point? In a place without laws, without morals. The strong hunt the weak, killing as if they were ants. How can we live like this? After questioning himself a bit, he uncontrollably ran out of the rabbit's room, frantic. He dashed down the hallway. The noise caught the attention of those in the rooms. After running desperately for a while, he stopped, panting. At the first round of the king's game, the rabbit was the king and could easily end me but only gave me a simple command. Why suddenly decide that he wanted to kill me in the third round? What happened in such a short time? He remembered how in the second round he held Garou out of anger, tightening his collar. The rabbit was there with a very bad expression. Shia connected the dots. Garou must have mentioned his name. The rabbit knew who he was and decided to end the M. So that's it. She holds a personal grudge against me. This also means she remembers the human era. Moreover, she is psychic. Only psychics can attain this strong spiritual power and remember their origins. But why would I, an ordinary college student, have offended a 13-year-old girl to this extent? While lost in thought, he turned and saw the slithering referee in front of the elevator. Where could he be going in the middle of the night? As soon as the referee entered, he immediately gathered his courage and decided to follow. After all, this building has so many rooms to examine, while several tests occur simultaneously. I am just another wanting to keep up. The serpent finally arrived at a room full of other serpents. Upon seeing the green serpent enter, the red snake declared, "Look who has arrived. Yang Yang, how many times do I have to tell you to call me number 19? Do you really want to leave your human identity behind? My name is not that cool. Besides, it's so hard to be human. What's the deal with that green snake? It just wants to stay here forever. And he says that with a smile, like he's enjoying the situation. Like life is the death of others. So awesome, right? Yeah, my friend. The feeling of having power is tempting. He dominates the room as if it's a game, and he hasn't seen anyone survive 10 times in a row. That, my friend, is a killing record. Here he comes, mocking. You made this exam a matter of life and death. No emotion. Well, every time he sees those relieved faces of those who escape, it's like watching people win the lottery. He feels so comfortable with it. What madness. The red snake, casually holding a cup, says, as long as we are here, we are the ones in charge. Ah, feel free to enjoy your fights, as if that's not insane. And look, Yang raises his cup full of his crazy ideas and shouts, let's toast. Let's drink rabbit blood and celebrate our superiority in this world. That was the clink of cups. A toast to survival. This is new, right? What are these crazies thinking? Most of us aren't even psychic, and rabbit blood hasn't been working lately. How depressing. So, to make things more interesting, they need to keep their eyes open. It's quite a game, you know. And Chia, who is outside listening to all this, is already thinking, what are these guys plotting? This won't end well. In the coming days, they will go to the rabbit garden to kill more. What a horrible proposal. Tired of meat from the warehouse, huh? The plan is to swap one meat for another. Who needs a bit of rabbit blood to remember they are human? Wow. In this world, killing is normal. Some to escape hell, others to live like kings. What madness. Over 100 exams take place daily, and guess what? A lot of people die. But they see it as a big game, without mercy or compassion. Then Yang says, the final round starts now, and I am the benevolent examiner. Ah, of course. Dude, I'm going to make everything simpler for you. Call this a battle in disguise. Now everyone says their name. The crowd starts to get restless, like they're going to the elimination round. The rules, each person writes someone's name on a piece of paper. In 15 minutes, everyone hands in their papers. I miss Big Brother, but with death involved. If someone is mentioned more than once, that person is dead. The survivors go into a line, like a talent show. The crowd asks, while we're at it, can we communicate and see the papers? And the idea of forming an alliance comes up. Classic. What if everyone writes their own name? This way we stay alive. The sly one dismissed the proposal, filled with questions. If everyone writes their own name, man, everyone is in trouble. Everyone will end up in danger. That won't work. Things are going to heat up. The dog, trying to comfort the rabbit, says, relax, you're too much of a pity to die first. They will want to keep you safe. The ant listened to everything in silence, thinking about what to do this round. He is being tactical. Dude, using force is a mistake. If they want to rise in the ranks, it's better to vote for Volv. His name is already on the floor, but they remember he killed the pig and the panther. That's something to consider. Then Gao, with his way of speaking, suggests, everyone should vote for the rabbit. That's the best way out. If he doesn't die because of Chia, with that mischievous smile, starts to laugh and says, such a simple game must have a way to win. Of course. The snake, who is very curious, just observes the spectacle. Wow, I didn't even think of a way for everyone to get out of here alive. Do you really believe that is possible? She asks suspiciously. Chia doesn't care. He replies, obviously. The loophole is Rizi's call. He can attack the examiner, yes. The examiner snakes panics. Before he can think of anything, Rizi strikes his neck. Wow, what is happening? The examiner, caught by surprise, didn't see the headbutt coming. Don't you dare touch me. Chia, creating a fierce aura, shouts, what is there to be afraid of? And he stomps on the snake, with blood splattering everywhere. What a scene. It's not just you, Sheo. With a cold expression, he orders Rizi to bring another challenge. Let's go to another examination room and see what happens. As if nothing had happened. In the new examination room, the red snake introduces itself and lays down the rules. Kill whoever it takes to pass the exam. The rabbit, trembling, kneels and screams to not be killed. Poor thing. No, I can't do this, he says, almost in despair as the horse advances with a knife. Sorry, kid, I need to find my daughter. The horse is in survival mode. What a drama. Before the rabbit can react, it comes at him, trying to stab. The rabbit, in panic, screams and covers his face, asking for help. This is not the rabbit's last scream. Before the show happens, someone grabs the horse. There is no need to kill each other for the amusement of others. This kind of exam should not exist. It's impossible. The examiner, with the red snake, gets screwed by the interruption. Do you dare to interrupt the exam? He roars, but does not see the resignation that appeared behind him. Take this. A fatal blow decapitates the snake. Tense atmosphere. The examiner's head falls and his face expresses terror. What just happened? Wow. Riding the laugh, he shouts, you are free, run, go fast. Brother, I can't go. I need to find my daughter, Chia cries out, completely out of his mind. If you want to go, hurry up. If not, come with me. The urgency is total. We make our way to the top. Both head to the exam floors. They have joined forces to kill the examiners. Even before dying, the examiners can still threaten. The Lion King will not let you escape, but the team does not listen. They advance as if their lives depend on it. Attack, Lord Wolf shouted, and soon they destroy everything around them. In the blink of an eye, they release the 20th floor. The plan is in action. Then, they release the other floors one by one. Finally, on the 6th and 9th floors full of claw, we will find these examiners and settle the score. Determination is in the air. I'll go first, says Rian Chawa, all reliable. He is followed by other animals, all with their eyes on their backs, determined to survive. But suddenly Chiawa holds his head, completely lost. His face is covered in sweat as if something very wrong is happening. So my buddy, I'm feeling kind of out of it. Suddenly, to make things worse, I received a notification from the system that made my mental points plummet. 23. My spiritual power is almost out. I only summoned Rice for 30 minutes. What will happen to me if I call Diano? When my power runs out, my sanity will go too. I will become an animal in this world. Suddenly, the rabbit extends its hand. Let Rai drink my blood to regain his power. Everyone needs you. Aunt Rai was left speechless by the rabbit's attitude. She responded cheerfully, let's solve our things later. Right now I want to help you and help the humans here. Chihuahua didn't think twice. He bit the rabbit's hand, sucking its blood. This way his spiritual power began to return. Thanks for the intention, but I can't forget what happened before. I will wait, Chia said to him. Wow. After regaining some energy, Chia and the others attacked the door and rushed inside. There, a king cobra was majestic in its chair, looking extremely confident. Hi, you are the boy who started the uprising. I heard about you yesterday on Channel 19. You are good at what you do. If you stop now, I can offer you the title of Lion King. Chiao let out a sarcastic laugh and said, so you want me to kill the animals behind me? That trick works on monkeys, but it won't work on me. With my skills, I really want to be recognized as a lion. The king cobra, furious at the response, shouted, you, like a bum, know this trick, but you know it can be turned against you. No, all of you animals, listen. Use this to get rid of this bum of a boy. Anyone can become a carnivore. The cobra's strategy really took effect. The other animals were in shock. They started to think, what, anyone can be a carnivore? Then we can too. They whispered among themselves with dark and malicious expressions. In the end, it didn't seem like a bad idea. Fish and deer were also part of the conversation, but they remembered he saved us once. The king cobra, noticing the group's insecurity, let out a satisfied chuckle. Boy, the situation did not go as you thought. You created a simple temptation and they turned into enemies. The one who helps you becomes an accomplice. The old woman beside Xiaoya raised her weapon and whispered, my daughter, I would do anything for you, even sell my conscience. Xiaoya remained unfazed. He was incredibly calm, almost comical. The cobra was surprised to see this. What are you laughing at? Do you still believe in them? Normal people do not resist the temptation of benefits. Xiaoya, with a disdainful smile and cold gaze, retorted, did you think I expected them to take you down? I am not an ordinary person. The frightened snake asked, what else do you have up your sleeve? He was in peak form, with his spiritual power at a maximum. He summoned Dan immediately. She appeared on top of the roof of the opposite building. She raised her hand and bam, a call of spikes of spiritual energy enveloped the building. Fool, shouted Dan. The spikes attacked the building with full force. The spiritual energy did its job and the structure collapsed. An explosion shook everything, and clouds of smoke spread out. When everything calmed down, the figure of Charlie revealed itself. My spiritual power was running on empty, almost out of sanity. Just when everything seemed about to fade, he questioned, where am I? Who am I? A Var-1 rabbit or a human? Kill them all. Suddenly, a loud scream startled the companions. Leopard arrived as well. Hold on, kid. They were there to capture the remaining snake examiners. From a certain distance, the instructor announced, cheating on the tests and causing trouble in the examination room resulted in a warrant for arrest from the Lion Association. Explain it to the other competitors. The other animals began to protest. Everything we sweated in the exam was in vain. The leopard repeated. The Lion Association took this into account and decided that all competitors would pass this time. That's incredible. Then he turned to Chihuahua and commented, and you, kid, you have potential. The Lion Association invites you to join our group. You can choose to be any type of animal. I imagine you want to be a lion, right? No, the weak half replied. I choose, but before he could finish, he fainted. However, before falling unconscious, he managed to speak. The animal I wanted to be, rabbit. When Tia woke up, guess what? He transformed into a rabbit. His spiritual power was restored like a miracle. The little rabbit approached, all worried. Brother Luxahai, good that you woke up, but why didn't you choose to be a lion? Shia looked at him calmly and said, I'm starving, but human meat is unacceptable. Becoming an herbivore and eating grass is fine. He continued, I also can't rely on drinking your blood to sustain myself. I would even prefer to drink my own blood. The little bunny looked and smiled. You're not at all what they say. The bounty talks about you as a cruel villain, a threat to the world, but I think you're a good person. Chell became curious. What bounty is that? That's why they tried to kill me before I joined the organization called Immortal Life Society. You're at the top of the Immortal Life Society's bounty list. So these guys see themselves as the villains everyone needs to eliminate, right? But look, the poor little bunny thinks that Shawai is actually pretty cool. The Immortal Life Society, my friend, is not an anti-social organization against the Hunter Association. In Dagu, the Chihuahua pulled a piece of grass to find something to eat. But why did I become their bounty target? My stomach is growling. Honestly, I'm really hungry and eating human flesh isn't an option. At the end of the day, I can only turn into a rabbit. The little bunny, feeling curious, asked, Anti-social organization? Wow. Our organization always swears it's a force for good. They fight for the happiness of all humanity, right? Then a representative from the Lion Association appeared and shouted, "Read! Even though you are a rabbit, the Lion Association now summons you. You can join the Lion Association and become the first rabbit member. It's on you." The rabbit with a gleam in his eye replied, "I'm in. The Lion Association must know how to get out of here. We're finally almost there." She tightly grabbed Chia's arm and said, "I want to follow you wherever you want. Let's go to the Lion Association." They finally arrived at the headquarters of the Lion Association, and the leopard team welcomed them enthusiastically. "Welcome to the Lion Association. The association's members are eager for you. On the roof, follow us to get your official uniforms." Chell felt a bit apprehensive. He turned to the little bunny and said, "The Lion Association can be quite dangerous, you know. Don't get involved more than necessary, please. Stay away. The Lion Association could free the zoo. I need to save everyone." The little bunny, full of enthusiasm, replied, "When I leave, please, brother Chia, give me a name. I still don't have one." Chia agreed. At the right time, done deal. It was already dark. After changing clothes, Chia and the rabbit looked elegant. They seemed to belong to high society. The two entered the place where 3 lions were waiting for them. One of them, looking at them, said, "You are the newcomers here." Then Chia got lost in his own thoughts. Just 3 lions, new rules. The new rules had 3 main points that honestly were quite complicated. A lion spoke up right after. "As you can see, only 3 lions remain in the Lion Association. If it weren't for you causing all that confusion during the exam, they would never have allowed your entry." Ant, recognizing a familiar voice, became suspicious. Wait, your voice is Lixiar. You are Lixiar, aren't you?" The lioness confirmed. "I have always worried a lot about you. I sent people to look for you a long time ago. I heard that someone freed the participants and caused chaos in the exam room. I was sure it was you. As always, you remain strong and just." But to not let it pass, Chia interrupted. "Wait, so you have always been a lion in the human world? You weren't a lion?" Chia began to explain his true identity. But Lixiar quickly replied, "It is not time for that conversation yet. My colleagues and I have always wanted to reduce deaths. That's why I prepared some tips." The association was in a tough choice. The lioness's bloodline carried a bit of rabbit blood that ensured her sanity and humanity, but many still wanted to liberate the zoo. When the pro-freedom lions lost on the first night of voting, chaos ensued and the minority was eliminated. Those who remained became increasingly conservative. There was no shortage of liberation faction lions wishing to call for new votes. Let's be honest, most real lions were in the upper class, living in abundance. So the zoo didn't attract as much attention from the lions as it did from the snakes. Unfortunately, the conservative faction always had an advantage over the liberation one. Over time, all the members of the liberation faction disappeared, with only one left, with no confidence at all. She found herself forced to be against freedom every night. With that, the association even suggested to the examiners that they avoid allowing anyone else to become a lion. Otherwise, they might lose even more members. "Well, you must be important, did you know?" Now the situation became clearer. They had 3 votes, 3 votes against 2. Yes, they could free the zoo that night, and everyone would return to human society. But having a lion in the group was not so certain. He shot out, "Don't get too excited too soon. Those 2 newcomers might not really listen to you." People, upon hearing that, immediately retorted, "We are going to free this place. That is the reason we came to the Lion Association. You are in the high society of the human world. Why would you have to be here?" John laughed and replied, "Because the bizarre world is the most perfect. I had immense riches before, but my body was very different. Here, even with a strange body, I gain eternal power. As long as I'm alive, my life has no end. Human life is so fragile compared to that of monsters. Don't you agree?" Little Lixar stood frozen, looking at the little bunny. "Do you know this guy?" The little bunny, trembling and stuttering, replied, "Zio, Mr. Zio, it's a society of mortal life." Tiaoi thought, "This lion is a figure of importance. The little bunny is pure, while Zhao seems to have ulterior motives behind this facade of immortal life society. There is something much darker. The little bunny and Zhao have completely different views on things. But why would the immortal life society be after me?" Zhao began using seductive words again. "Come on, girl, live a free life, without restrictions, with me. The real world out there is miserable." She thought of being queen of this place, where you would have everything, power, wealth, and immortality. But the threat was not absent. "But if you vote for liberation, I will make you suffer to death." Seeing the little bunny trembling with fear, she thought, "This is terrible." What I was already saying made sense. The little bunny had no reason to return to that tragic world. Therefore, the Lion Association would never be free. He even confessed, "I also want to stay here." But the little bunny then spoke out firmly. "Immortality is not just for one, but for all humanity. There has already been too much death in this animal world. I want to free the innocents that are here, so that everyone can return to the real world. I can't think just of myself at this moment." Chia heard his words and was amazed. She is only 13 years old, still a child, but she is simply admirable. John was furious, his face darkened like a storm. "Wow, things are heating up. Little girl, if this is..." He lunged at the bunny, ready to finish him off. "Give up your life," Chia shouted almost in despair. "Be careful." But there was no other way. John drove his hand into the bunny's body, ending its life. "Chia, I know you are strong. You destroyed an entire building. But what kind of fight is this? Even if you are a bunny and I am a lion, I wouldn't trust a fight against you." But this little girl, killing her is easy. Now it's all even. Chia was trembling with rage. What fury, huh? Joun growled. I need to eliminate you. Shio called Dandinya and raced to attack Zogu, but Joun faced it as if it were no big deal. He easily blocked Shia's attack. Stop, in this world, lions rule. I know you are powerful, but you cannot break the rules. Zhu released Chia and Chia didn't hesitate. One day, I will eliminate you. And then the bunny's soul slipped out of his body. Chia thought, this consumed a huge amount of spiritual power. I cannot act on impulse. He was in shock. The bunny's soul performed the magic of entering his necklace. It became a monster because its shape is now that of a monster. Or are his obsessions still around? Now I have one more monster, and it is still sleeping. Jago shouted loudly. Alright, let's resolve our issues later. How about we vote? Now Diro, are you still determined not to free yourself? Man, this is complicated. I just want to win. Of course. Especially because I have cancer in the real world. Wow. Relax. Follow me and vote. With my vote you will be safe. Chia tried to convince. I will vote for freedom. Me too, Brother Lin. Please vote with me to free this place. We just need your vote. Vote. Shala hesitated. Attention was drawn up. What if the announcement rolled in that moment? The voting started. Everyone, close your eyes and make your decisions. The voting was quick. 3 votes for freedom, 1 against. Whoever voted against will be eliminated on the spot. This world is about to get a second chance. The zoo will see sunlight again. She felt delighted. Wonderful. This strange reality will finally touch daylight. Chia glanced at Ziho. Ziho, you are doomed. Jagu on the other hand had a sly smile. Pure. I returned for freedom because I changed my mind at the last minute. Worse than following these two here seemed the best option. The situation weighed heavily on Shaolin. He felt suffocated. In just a few seconds Shaolin vanished. The demonic aura of the zoo faded away, releasing sunlight. Before he left he said it. Liwei, we will meet again soon. Then he jumped off the building. The animals in the zoo were in shock. Look, the gates opened. The strangeness disappeared. Reporters rushed to broadcast the miracle of decontamination. After an era of demonic chaos, the zoo was finally freed. As for what happened inside and who the true hero was that got them out, we will need further investigation. The people who were in the zoo became humans again. Surprise! Killed humans again. Some were scared, others in panic. I didn't eat animals, but human beings. What did I do? I killed human beings, not animals. What did I do? Shia and she also became human again. We returned, but I don't know how many are still alive in the zoo. Ant held the necklace in her hand and turned. Hi colleague Lashia, I need to go home first. No problem. Meanwhile, on TV they were talking about the recent incident. The news said that over 10,000 people lost their lives. The victims were mostly from the poorest. The middle class escaped fine. This generated a lot of discontent and protests across the country. Shia stared at the necklace and shouted, Bunny, are you there? The necklace shone at once. The bunny appeared in an instant. Wonderful, brother Chia. Can you believe I thought I was going to die? I never thought I would gain immortality like this. It doesn't even matter that the Immortal Life Society hunted me down. Right, Chia? He seemed discouraged. I couldn't protect you the way I should have. The little bunny replied, Leground, brother Chia, you have always protected me. You are my good deed. If you are feeling guilty, give me a name to make up for it. I saw a beautiful name in a book called The Dream of the Jade Moon, made of ice crystal. Upon hearing the long and strange name, Chia was shocked. What a dramatic book this girl is reading. Back to the point, what is your ability? Why did you join the Immortal Life Society? The little bunny explained, in the crazy zoo, hunters can't use powers. My ability is to read minds. I hear the thoughts of those below me. I am an orphan from the Immortal Life Society. Among us, some are trained to be assassins, others are used as research subjects, and some become gifts for the members. That Zarago was a mid-level member. I almost became his gift, but I managed to escape to the zoo. Then Shui's phone rang. It was Didi announcing, read this, your ranking has been evaluated. Look, you have every right to access your mother's information. Now let's stop by the association to clear up that zoo business. And seriously, you have contributed a lot too, so let's go make a report. The association has a reward waiting for you. Uncle didn't think twice and agreed. All right. Then he asked, the lowdown man, help me find the address of a guy. His name is Zogo Jago. That's the second message I had for you. You know him, right? Well, I have some explosive information from a spy who is infiltrated in the Immortal Life Society. There's a guy named Jabu who is recruiting assassins in the shadows and planning something against you. Do you have any connection to this guy? And what do you know about G? No, I don't know him. I only know that he is the CEO of a technology company and he is definitely not easy to deal with. The other warned, be careful, brother Chia. I picked up the thoughts of 3 guys coming towards your house and they are not friendly. They intend to kill you. I will tell you where they are. One is at the window, the other is outside the door, and the third is in the alley. Chia was lost in thought. Really, using these abilities is a huge drain on mental energy. This means that from now on, my abilities will depend on my mental power. And as Mu noticed, one of the level 3 assassins is standing outside chatting with the other 2. The target that the game sent to kill is a real fiasco. The guy is just a level B hunter. So he hires all 3 of us for this. Assassin Li Gang is out there, feeling quite confident. He is just a level B hunter. I can handle it alone. Li and Fei, feeling cocky, underestimated so much that he said, "This money is easy. You attack and I'll invest in your abilities." Li Gang went and flexed his muscles. What's the point of that? Improvement? He's nobody. Without thinking twice, he kicked the door to Chia's room. The door broke upon opening, and immediately, a number of sharp spikes of spiritual energy shot towards him. Before he could process it, his body was full of holes, and he fell. Lian Fei was stunned. What is happening here? Reyes took a quick look through the window, her head out. Who am I? And yes, that was a shock. A ghost? How can there be a ghost here? Before she finished speaking, Reese lunged and bit her neck, making her scream. Lian Fei froze. Soon after, a gleaming knife was pressed against his neck. Don't move, Oxia ordered in a chilling tone. Now tell me everything. Answer. Don't try to fool me because I won't fall for it. Where is Zegu? She trembled as she answered. He seems to be in the fighting village north of the city center. Manhwa activated her mind reading. If I said that Lord Zuao is in Lante village, wouldn't his death be more tragic? Xiaoi smiled wickedly. He's in Lante village south of the city, right? Yanfei panicked immediately. How did you know? A jet of blood emerged as Chia quickly eliminated the assassin. Manhwa approached to analyze the information. Lena Manfei is wanted for having killed many people. She is a notorious criminal, with a wanted poster from the Hunters Association. The bounty on her is 100,000, and her death is more than deserved. Let's act, everyone, okay? Heading to Lanting village. After a while moving, Chia finally arrived at the village. He pulled his necklace. Immediately, he called everyone. Manhwa, Reise, Dandian, and Diandian. They asked, why didn't we just kill him all at once? That would have been too easy for him. More than that, he has social status and a position. If he dies like this, he will call the police. If they find out someone manipulated things, I will be in big trouble. What I need to do is disguise it all as if it were a monster. He did a lot of wicked things in his house. Vengeful spirits are everywhere. After he dies, he will turn into a monster to seek revenge. Out of nowhere, Exil had a nosebleed. Dian, worried, asked, Brother Chia, is everything okay? All good. It's just that it's the first time so many people showed up at once. It consumes spiritual power quickly. I can't handle it. We don't have more time. Let's go now. Inside Jago's room, a girl with a weary appearance was crying. Jago sat at the edge of the bed, smoking a cigarette and feeling satisfied. Now that I think about it, those 3 murderers must have dealt with Lichia, right? The lights that were on suddenly went out. He looked up, surprised. What's happening? Power outage? He pulled the blanket from the girl, kicked her, and shouted, Why are you crying? Go check if the power is out. The girl fell off the bed, shaking while saying yes. Suddenly she noticed something. It was a hand with sharp claws coming from under the bed, trying to grab hers. She screamed in terror and fainted from fear. Jago shouted angrily, What's all this screaming? It's just a power outage. Are you that scared? At that moment, Hei revealed herself in her true form, appearing before him. He was set ablaze. Chia roared loudly. Jago was so terrified he almost soiled himself. He bolted out, screaming, Ghost! As he ran, he grabbed the phone to call. Hello, police. There's a monster in my village. But he quickly added, It doesn't look that strong, just a wild ghost. Man, he had no idea how he ended up in that village. But, at least for now, he thought he was safe. Then, out of nowhere, he shouted, Send someone from the Hunters Association here quickly. After running, he decided to open the door of the house. He was all out of breath, just like someone who had just run a marathon. And in front of him, who was there? Dandinia, with that childlike appearance. Not wasting any time, Dandinia immediately said, Hi, uncle. Seeing Dandinia, the guy let out a sinister little smile. It was as if he had achieved something he shouldn't have. And shockingly, he forgot everything that had just happened. Fear? He no longer knew what that was. Look at that, another gift from the association. The girl seemed very small, barely 7 or 8 years old. Then, in a scheming manner, he pulled Dandinia and said, Come with me, it's not safe here anymore. I will take you to a safe place. We can't let the police know about the girl. I need to tie her up soon. Dandinia, with that angelic face, asked, Uncle, can you help me look for something? The guy, unsuspecting, just agreed and smiled. Quite sinister indeed. Wait, I'll take you to a safe place. Then I'll help you find it. Your sisters are there too. After that, he took Dandinia to a locked room. Whoa! The guy pulled out the key and opened the door easily. Then, showing everything, he said, These 9 children here are all your sisters. From now on, this is your home. Dandinia, very calm, interrupted. No, there are 10 girls here. You didn't count right, uncle. Hearing this, the guy looked around and kind of counted again. And yes, there was one more child. Who could it be? He approached the mule and asked, Who are you? You look familiar. The mule, right on cue, made a ghostly face to scare him. You killed me yesterday. Of course I'm familiar. The guy, shocked, stepped back. You aren't dead. This isn't right. You were clearly dead. Did you turn into a ghost? The mule, determined, suddenly stood up, her whole body trembling with a dark energy. I don't like that name. I'm a mule. I've named each of these girls here. They are no longer your dolls. Dandinia, with a serious look, asked, So, what's this? You promised to help me find. The guy was pale, without a drop of blood on his face. Dandinia, adopting that ghostly demeanor, said, Will you help me find my body? Zhao, in shock, yelled, What are you talking about? Dandian struck a new ghostly pose to scare the guy even more. My body is trapped under the bed. Jabu, of course, panicked. Ghost? He tried to run away, but Rai blocked his path. Dandian and Manhwa, with their demonic forms, got closer. They threatened, "You love ghosts, right? Because ghosts live forever. Uncle, come play with us." Ju's face was a spectacle of terror. Sweat dripped like amber from the storm. "Don't come near." Rai, like a shadow, surrounded him with no chance to escape. Manhwa held those sinister tools she used on the girls. "You really love these toys? Now you'll try each one of them." Meanwhile, outside the landing village, several police cars were parked. "Mano, last night there was a police report. Ga and an officer were talking outside the secret room. The informant mentioned a strange entity that entered his house. Quickly, we found a secret room inside the informant's house, filled with torture. Guy's Jago was found hanging on a wooden cross, all beaten up, with no sign of life. Those torture instruments were used on him. His death was devastating. When we arrived, we discovered he was indeed the informant." Zhao, aware of the situation, realized that the demonic presence was loose around there. "These wounds don't seem to be made by humans. With my experience, it's definitely a monster acting. This is strange. Zetsu didn't mess with Lisha last night because he is dead now. Coincidence, right?" Meanwhile, Chia was sitting there, eager to look at Zaju's computer. Dandinya was floating, happily drinking cacao. "Pure happiness. How delicious. It's the first time I drink cacao." "Brother, Chia, look. If the police and the Hunters Association come after Ju's computer, they will think it was a monster. They won't suspect that someone is manipulating things behind the scenes. This computer might have crucial clues about the Society of Immortal Life. I need to dig deep into what's going on and why they are after me." After a while, Xiaomi exclaimed, surprised, "Wow, look at this." He came across a hidden folder of documents. Inside, there was a lot of information about the Society of Immortal Life, like the internal conflicts. There was a bounty order. "Who is it? La Tintang? Hey, that's not my mother's name, Tinting. But only a few people know that name of hers. The Society of Immortal Life might be involved in my mother's disappearance. An unknown chat software should be private and encrypted. The group of the Society of Immortal Life feels like a game. I can pretend to be Zoel and ask for some clues. But before I could go deeper, I was discovered. That was it. I was expelled from the group. What a situation, huh?" The group leader started flooding the chat with incessant messages, repeatedly asking, "Who are you?" And it didn't stop there. The messages kept coming, all with the same question, "Who are you? You're dead." In a surge of impulse, Chia closed the laptop as if trying to escape a horror movie. Let's put this game aside. He didn't want to create more confusion. The focus now was to find out what happened to his mother. About matters that didn't involve this, it was time to go to the Hunters Association. Bin Hunters Association. At the High City branch. Inside the document room, Fifi was beaming and said, "Congratulations. You have been promoted to a new rank. You want to search for your mother's documents, right? But it seems there were no records of her. Your mother, Miss Lixania, seems to be an ordinary person, not a hunter. To find out about her disappearance, you should go to the police, not the Hunters Association." Chia felt frustration take over, determined that there would be no information about his mother. After all, hunters were a small elite at the top of the pyramid. Fifi, trying to help, said, "I have already searched for a hunter named Lixenho all over the country for you and found no trace of your mother. So can you help me find someone named Lixenho or just Xing Xing? If my mother really was an important hunter, she probably used a false name." When Fifi heard the name, she started to laugh. "I really need to look for that. The famous SS rank hunter, with the name Xingqing Kim?" She seemed so excited. "I know where her documents are, at my fingertips." Chia, somewhat confused, asked, "SS rank hunter?" "Yes, I told you about her. An SS rank hunter is very rare. That also has the ability of the time element. Our association of hunters in the city of Beni is just a part of this." Aunt took the papers, astonished by what she heard about these elements. "My two abilities, the deduction system and the monster creation necklace, are linked to the time element attribute of Shinkim and the immortality ability that the Immortal Life Society desires so much. All of this is connected to that." Chia opened the documents and read, "Xingshang is part of the headquarters of the Hunter Association in the capital. A time element hunter of rank SSS disappeared 24 years ago, and her whereabouts are a mystery. That was what was available. According to the rules, only hunters of the same level can access files of hunters of the same level or lower levels." Aunt reflected for a moment and spoke, "I am 23 years old this year. Miss Lacania disappeared 24 years ago, and that coincides with the period when she was pregnant with me. I want to ascend to rank SSS. The Immortal Life Society believes that the abilities demonstrated in the incidents of Professor Bizarro and the Evil God are connected. Ali Xing Xing, that is why they put a bounty on my head." He remembered that it was not the first time his abilities had manifested. Everyone was convinced that he had a close connection with Li Tintim, therefore he had a prominent position on the bounty list. "Sister Fifi, how can I reach level SSS? My mother left this mysterious necklace. She definitely was not an ordinary person. She must have used a weight donio, perhaps Tintingay. I need to discover more about my mother." Fifi, always excited, said, "There are direct challenges for leveling up and high-level missions. I heard that your ability is classified as Luck, level B. This ability cannot be improved. You can only accept missions above your level. A mission can help you level up. Do you want to take on a mission? The rewards are quite generous. You can choose the mission that interests you the most on the board." Fifi exclaimed, "Aunt, this is your first time taking a mission. Are you sure you don't want a team? It's dangerous." Thus he, determined, replied, "No, I need to. I want to face the mission alone. In this way, all the credit will be mine. He continued, I really need the money, but the truth is that it's more about keeping fewer people informed about my deduction and my impressive skills. He glanced at the mission board and said, I will choose this one. It seems relatively easy. But then why is it classified as level A? Fifi warned him. Then, be careful. If something goes wrong, quit the mission in time. He listened, and the concern grew. Bin High Girls High School. Boarding house, girls. You are quite young to be a B-class hunter. Your skills must be exceptional. It is an honor. The students are safe. Recently, many strange incidents have occurred. The police mentioned that these strange situations might be caused by loose monsters. Chia continued receiving compliments, which only increased his anxiety. He scratched his head, somewhat embarrassed, and said, You are all so kind. Can you tell me exactly what happened? In just half a month, I am already a B-class hunter. That's impressive. It's the first time I am respected and admired this way. But he found it very hard to digest. The man began to explain, recently 18 female students disappeared without explanation at the boarding house. The police searched the entire building and found nothing. The security cameras did not register any of them leaving. The teacher next to them concluded, the school suspended classes and sent the boarding students home, but those missing students have not yet appeared. Please, we need to find clues about those 18 girls. Chia, full of confidence, said, Don't worry, this stays with me. But soon after, regretting it, he thought, I am showing off too much. In reality, he was so nervous that his legs were shaking. This is a level A mission. He remembered that even the monster incident at the university was not classified as C. It required an elite team, S of G, but this time it's just me. But he was no longer that scared rookie. He activated his deduction ability. With the flashlight in hand, he began to explore the corridor of the boarding house. I need to see this whole place in 10 minutes. Suddenly he heard a noise and turned his head, surprised. The boarding house was not empty. Why am I hearing footsteps behind me? But when he looked, there was no one. He changed the direction of the flashlight, but nothing. Then he noticed a dark shadow lurking in the distance. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next releases. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.